ready for it. is think about you, is think about you. All I ever do is think about you, is think about you.
stage, hear the vibe. Pumped up to get ready for the fight. Big dreams, one chance, be the star. I'm the winner coming out of the dark. No fear, getting ready for the ride. Yeah, stepping into the light. No limit, aim high. No limit, the prize is mine.
Step out as a motivator. Let them know that the weight's up. That's how we know when we level up. Hey, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
Back against the wall, still I'm standing tall. Know about the ball, I got my fan with me. All we know is ball to empty out the mouth. The chosen one they call, I take my fan with me. Know about it if you tell, know you're breaking codes. But your credibility and all fall like dominoes. Can you really take a stance? All I wanna know. Need me real ones when it's time to go. Stepping in, elevator. Listen to all the haters. That's all we know when we level up. Yeah, that's all we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up. I found out I'm not alone. 'Cause I'm just like you. There's no failing when we fight. We're not afraid to. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the ESL Mobile Open Finals. I'm your host, Paul Inverum, and today we are going to figure out who exactly is going to be walking away with that #1 spot here for our second PUBG Mobile ladder of 2021. But of course, I can't do this alone, and you have a good idea. You have a pretty good idea of who's joining me here. The camo shirt is back. It's Daniel Degon Gonzalez.
Paul, it's great to be back. Every time we have the opportunity to cast some PUBG Mobile here in the American region, it is a lot of fun, and I love the fact that we get to find superstars every single time. Just like last ladder finals, we had one of the most explosive endings that I've ever seen in anything I've ever casted. You never know what's going to happen in the Mobile Open.
It's a great opportunity for players to step up to the next level. We're constantly seeing new things every single time. You're absolutely right, which is why we need more. Just get more. Cameron Davis, get in here. Get over here. Welcome back to the show, sir. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. I'm excited to be here. Ladder 1 was a great time. About to see Ladder 2 really scrap it all out. It's going to be an exciting evening.
Oh, for sure. There are so many teams that we are familiar with, mixed with some squads that we don't know quite so well. We've had an opportunity to see some highlight clips for them over the last few weeks. Hot Jukes has done a fantastic job of putting together some videos for us, but this is really for all the marbles. And that's what this program is all about, is giving players an opportunity to compete in mobile esports, take it to the next level, and compete against some of the best squads in their region. There's a lot going on this year. It's bigger and better than ever. So let's watch this video breaking it all down.
Welcome to ESL Mobile, the home of mobile esports. ESL Mobile is a global program designed to give you an opportunity to compete in your favorite mobile games, featuring multiple game titles, taking place in 3 regions and offering 2 levels of competition. There's something here for everyone. ESL Mobile Open is the gateway to competitive play, free to join and open to any resident of our supported regions. This is the best way for you to enjoy the thrill of victory and take your shot at winning cash prizes. Each season of Mobile Open will consist of 2 ladders, and the top competitors from each will qualify for the Mobile Open play-ins. ESL Mobile Challenge is your path to glory. If you are a top competitor in the Mobile Open play-ins, you will earn a spot in the Mobile Challenge season. The top team from each ladder will skip the play-ins and qualify directly for the Mobile Challenge season. This is where you'll have the chance to compete against the best players in your region. At the end of each season, top Mobile Challenge players will compete in the Mobile Challenge Finals to determine a winner and be crowned their region's champion. ESL Mobile is for everyone. This is your opportunity to join a diverse and growing community of players across the world and see just how far you can go.
I mean, you saw it there. It's all about pushing it to that next level. And Degon, you know, we've been doing this for a while now, and it's really cool to see teams who sort of got their start here in the Mobile Open now competing in the biggest tournaments in North America and beyond, even globally.
Yeah, again, the grassroots of season 1 to season 6 a couple years ago in Mobile Open is seeing those teams grow, get signed by larger organizations and take off in this PUBG Mobile ecosystem has just been a ton of fun. And Cam, we've got a couple of teams here that have like PMPL experience, especially in the Americas, and a couple in World League.
Yeah, the 2 that definitely jump out to me on that front are, of course, going to be Nova Esports, as well as helping quit addiction. We're going to go over predictions later, so I don't want to harp on this a little bit too much. But then when you look at them coming up against Moonlight and Cold2BGBG, which are the top 2 from Ladder 1, it's almost like a David and Goliath sort of situation, perhaps?
I mean, I don't think we want to get too ahead of ourselves here as we take a look at all the teams that have made it on till this point, because while there are definitely some really scary teams in this, they're not even necessarily the top. I have to look towards Nova Esports. They went on a crazy run here at the end. B-Town Esports was in the #1 spot week over week. Nova really showed up in the last week of play and made it into a top 3 spot, albeit 5-point difference there. They're definitely a squad with a ton of competitive experience that other folks are keeping their eyes on. But Degon, they're certainly not alone. Cold2BGBG, Mizexis, these are teams that have played at the highest level of competition here in NA.
Yeah, they definitely have. In Cold2BGBG, we saw them in Ladder 1 with the explosive finish. Wasn't quite enough to catch our Ladder 1 finals champion, which is on our second half of our leaderboard right there. It's Moonlight CN that took home that Ladder 1 championship. And it was very, very, very close. But again, the fact that these 2 teams now have the opportunity to take a step up in competition is what's so great about this tournament.
Yeah, just to round out the last end of this leaderboard, we of course have Sleeping Forest returning, and then of course helping quit addiction. You might know already. Game Changers, I think, might be a familiar name. But there are still a lot of new names all across this leaderboard, like the team in first place, Sailing Pro. I'm not really familiar with them, but they took the lead at the final week, being one of the many teams to overtake B-Town Esports. I remember Hot Jukes actually really liking how they had a 19-kill win in week 2, so this is definitely another team that we can't sleep on.
And I think what's great about this is if you're a team who's looking to really take that next step, look towards the PMPL and beyond, I mean, this is a great place to do it right here, facing up against teams who are some of the top squads or a top squad in PMPL. What better way to test your mettle? And what better way to get started than on Erangel? That will be our first map here. 5 matches on the night, which means we're going to head to a short break. When we come back, Degon and Cameron Davis are going to bring you all the action for game number 1.
I go ready for it. I go ready for it.
Hello and welcome back to the ESL Mobile Open Game 1 Ladder 2 Finals for PUBG Mobile. These players have been playing all Season 1 Ladder 2 long, and now they've got themselves the finals that they can be proud of. As Plane Path starting off here in Erangel, Digon and Cammy D bringing you the action. And, you know, we had 5 separate winners, chicken dinner winners, Cammy, in that last in Ladder 1 finals. But it was still very close all the way until the end. And I'm excited to see how some of those top teams that performed in Ladder 1 will do against some of these top teams that are known from PMPL and World League.
Yeah, I really do think that Innova is the team to watch, and they're almost coming in as like the final boss, the big arch villains of this lobby. And to start things off, though, God, this plane path is it's awful. I have to say, it is absolutely terrible. Even if you don't see the line, we can still tell just by the trajectory of all the parachutes. It's absolutely disgusting. And because we're actually
it's so bad we can't
full
see it.
16-team lobby, yeah, exactly. It's a full 16-team lobby as well, so that's going to make all those stretching to the northwest even harder.
The plane's moonwalking backwards. What's happening? Well,
Putting on an air show for us for the opening match.
And the zone will be to the north, so we've got 1, 2, 3 teams that drop to Millie Base. They're going to have to rotate themselves out at some point. No one going too far west. Obviously, the plane doesn't help them out too much, but going to be a lot of teams having to hoof it on up to the north. Only teams that like immediately dropped and then went opposite of the plane path would be the ones benefiting here. So might be one of the zones where we get to see like a lot of transition kills here in the first zone 1. A lot of the time you don't get to see that. People consolidate. Maybe you get like one team in a little fight. Someone wants to camp around farm. Well, farm's not even in the zone right now, or bridge and farm. It's not even in the zone right now, and so we're gonna have maybe some early action. As can't have a mobile open without some car shenanigans.
That's fine. He stuck it. It was an intentional roll just to block some shots that might have come his way. It's all about thinking a few steps ahead, right? But no, I do think we might be getting a little bit of action on the rotations. I don't think we're going to be seeing any bridge camps, especially on the very opening game. If this was game 3 or 4, where these teams, the leaderboard has been a little bit established, these teams got a little more used to each other, but to be a team and to bridge camp, for example, across from military base, when you're not even in the circle yourself on the opening match of the night, it's a really, really risky play.
Yeah, I think teams will loot up in their own area and then rotate themselves out. Again, got to remember, these teams played against all teams that were trying to qualify each phase of Ladder 2 here in Season 1. And now this is going to be one of the first times they all play together in the same lobby. Millie Base does fit 3 teams there. You could fit 3, but that's like the max. And we saw in Ladder 1, there was only 1 team dropping military base. So we get to see Erangel one more time with this lobby. And so teams will be figuring out drop spots and how close they are to other teams, and they can make adjustments as we move through the map cycle.
Yeah, I do actually wonder how many of these teams are going to consistently drop here, because remember how bad the playing path was. I would guess that at least 1, potentially 2 of the teams that we're seeing loot up in Military Island right now only came here as a plan B, because of how out of reach, say, Georgia Pole, Hospital, even Gatka was on that playing path. And so that alone is, I think, going to make this opening match a really difficult metric for us to judge this lobby by, much less the players themselves who are having to deal with all these issues.
Yeah. Here we are with Helping Quit Addiction, one of the squads that has been around for a while, following along with Chi Wang here over at school. Lewis just taking a quick run into the wall for a little bit and is now continuing his loot on up. School feels like an area, I think, we don't have the map view up right now, but is one of the areas that I think is a nice spot to start in for this Zone 1. You're on the edge. You need to figure out, okay, do we have to cross through Razak to get into the rest of the zone? You have that. It looks like apps are clear too, so they've got both spots there. Thank you very much, Mr. Observers and Mrs. Observers. That is amazing. As, again, School just nicely nestled in there. Maybe not right on the edge, but nestled in there that they're going to be mobile enough and near that crossroads right in the middle of the map.
Yeah, they're not so far away that they're going to have to worry about looting up as quickly as possible and maybe even leaving before they have a full kit, but they are not so close to the center of the circle that they need to worry about other teams coming into their position before they are done looting. It's a nice little middle ground there that, as you said, gives them options in terms of flexibility. What I don't like is that it does seem that they are lacking on vehicles. They are now at full clown carring it, but they still have 3 in 1 UAZ. Hopefully they're going to be able to find themselves at least a 3rd vehicle to roll on with. All 4, of course, is going to be the best case scenario, but at the moment they have the solo player out as a scout, so this group all in the same vehicle can do their best to avoid getting into trouble.
It did look like Sleeping Force rotated out of military base pretty early. You could see them, Sailing Pro rotated out early out of military base. They drive through Sleeping Force are hanging around and will get themselves ground. So Cool 2 BGBG will be one of the last teams leaving military base. And it doesn't seem like we're going to have too many teams fighting over spots quite yet. So maybe I was wrong with my prediction. Zone 1 action not quite happening right off the top. But here we go. Yeah, there it is. Here's our #1 qualifiers, Sailing Pro, just driving on through. Seeing some traffic. The Erangel routes don't normally have traffic, so you see another car, it's like, oh, it's weird. Why are we here?
Yeah, so don't feel too bad about yourself, because these teams are kind of coming into contact with each other. They're just electing to not take these fights, which is a common strategy that you see. It's very high risk, high reward to go for early engagements. If a team sees an opportunity, then absolutely going to pounce on that, but you don't want to force an engagement, especially if you're not even fighting over position in the circle. If it's just a random scrappy fight on the side, it doesn't really do anyone any favors, which is why we're going to be seeing Sailing Pro have to consistently adjust their rotations, go push a little wider, a little bit more of a wrap once they see someone ahead of them, and just make adjustments like that. And then once they're inside the circle, of course, start to play things a little more aggressively.
Again, Sleeping Pro, our top qualifiers here as we follow along with ZX MER. I don't know how to say anything. How are we going to say this?
I'm going to go Mir.
Now. Mir?
MYR,
okay.
Mir. I'm going to go Mir. That's my guess.
Yeah. Because I really love calling Andy's name Pandy, right? SLP
yeah.
Andy. We're going to call him Pandy in the team fights.
I'm glad I wasn't the only one thinking that.
No, dude. I saw it. My mind went straight to Panda. Absolutely. Pandy. It's a great one. Just like Pedwin up there. And this is one of the cool things about Mobile Open, right? They put in the work, this team did, to get ahead. And now we'll get to see how they're doing as, early team fights breaking out here as EFC find some action, getting a knock early, and I think they have a bead on the rest of the team here.
Yeah, I think they got, a full kill already. But oh my God, it got caught in my throat. I think that surprised Moso as well. Turned his head for a split second and immediately got knocked. Was able to drop off the roof, but we'll see if NLD don't go aggressive. That is, of course, assuming that G gets inside a vehicle in time. Circle 2 is about to pop, and so rotations are going to be coming into play. I don't think they're going to be going aggressive onto that, but that was still a really nice knock to try and reset this engagement.
Yeah, that's Nameless answering right back after one of theirs has been finished off. So Nameless making a name for themselves early on. Zone moving further north. This is a lot of consolidation here. He has Naya still playable. Stauber, there's a little bit of it, but Severny shooting range is going to be a big part of it. And I guess anyone holding Razak will, I think what is the spot that you want to play here? Because Razak is in, but then if it shifts over across the river, then you're just kind of swimming.
Yeah.
ducks.
Razak is an incredibly risky area to play, but we're still seeing some people that have to rotate in all the way from the south. There's actually one team that was still on the military base, surprisingly, so that might have to be a last course of action. But ignoring Razak, obviously getting somewhere in the center is important, but so much of the center is on a heavy low ground. So if you're in this area that Nameless are right now, this is a solid position to hold, keep your sight lines open and available, but really you just have to be wary of so many open lines of sight in this entire area. But naturally in Circle 2, closer to center you are, within reason, the better chance you have on either getting Circle or being able to have a quick rotation to wherever the next circles move to.
So we saw Nameless battling it out there with Pro Era around the gas station. Now, look at this. A couple of other teams taking offense to where they're settling south of Severny. This is B-Town Esports, who was leading most of Ladder 2 during the qualifiers. They got nipped there at the end. They're taking a look at Chemical Cloud, who are just hanging out here, right? Again, enough space that once you find a spot, you can just hold it and take some pot shots, just like B-Town are doing right now. But at some point, specifically the next circle, you're gonna run out of space. We're gonna see a lot of teams crashing into one another.
Yeah, you can see B-Town wanting to look for an opportunity. If a team is able to control both this building that B-Town are in as well as the warehouse that Chemical Cloud themselves are in, that's a really, really nice split. Go 2-2, good big area to control. However, it's a very risky area to control because obviously risk of being crashed. But nonetheless, these two positions are always at a little bit of a feud between each other. So if B-Town are able to find a couple of opportunities with someone on Chemical Cloud, or vice versa as well, someone peeks their head out just a little bit too far, we could see a little bit of action, a little bit of maybe some fighting going down. The flip side is, I don't know if anyone would want to risk giving up their position, considering how strong this is in the current circle. So it might be not much more than a couple of love taps between the two sides.
Yeah, Thor just taking some shots, holding the team together here as Chemical Cloud. Also, they got another fight on their hands. They're going to have to keep an eye there on Top League Esports. So Chemical Cloud, yes, people know that's valuable real estate as we wait for this circle to pop. Should be coming in any moment. Which way are we going, Cammy?
North. We're going north.
Even more north.
Oh,
that's mostly.
God.
That's mostly. There's not a lot there, is there, Cammy?
There is nothing here. This is my least favorite area of Erangel. It is a giant open slope down from Stahlberg. Yeah, there are a couple of rock areas. There's like one or two little deer towers to hide out in. But on the west side of this circle, where most of the teams are going to be coming in from, there is almost nothing. These positions that we've just been looking at for B-Town and Chemical Cloud have a couple opportunities of getting frags on transitioning teams. But it's just going to be a wide open field for a lot of these guys.
Oh, well, we only had one kill up to that point. I bet we're going to have like 20 more here. 20 more after this zone is said and done. Nova looking to get into the action finally. Go and Rin, one of their top performers consistently throughout. Gonna nade this one out as looks like Zukana was taken out from distance by one of the Nova teammates, and Nova gonna be on the board here with one of their early kills.
Yeah, good secure on a point, but they can't stick around here for too much longer because this area isn't even really inside the next circle. If it is, it's not that strong of a position. Currently just trolling around the edge here, hitting around the rocks, trying to play on foot, not necessarily quick on their rotation themselves. But that is, of course, a decision that could potentially put you in a really bad position later on in the game, which reads to me that they are very confident with their own gun skills.
Yeah, Hero Team Valorious, one of our new teams participating here in the Season 1 Ladder 2 Finals. Going to be down a player. That's right, Gamma and the Coltu squad looking to bounce back from the second place finish and build upon that, bring home the Finals championship if they're able to do so this time. But this lobby, a lot harder.
Yeah, and they have a really good position with this next circle. Not even just a solid pressuring position over Top League Esports, which is the team down in the compound just below them, but also just the sightlines all surrounding them. There's the hill that you can see just to the south, but considering that's on the southern edge of the circle, it's not going to be as contested as it was with the circle in a different configuration. We're seeing another rotating team. Sleeping Forest, actually, it seems that they can't really find where they want to go. Looking at the map right now, so many of these teams have already found a location to settle down in, but I don't know how many areas there are really left to play.
Yeah, not a ton, as HQA is able to find themselves a fight. This team's still rotating around and finding space, as you said, in a place that doesn't have a lot of great spots. So you're hiding in divots, you're hiding behind trees, you got smokes, but once those run out, you're in a lot of trouble. You got to make sure you frag out so you can take their utility.
You can see there's the giant void in the middle. Oh boy. Oh, okay. So this circle shift, it is better terrain-wise. There's more to play around, but it's another hard shift on top of a hard shift. Everyone just has to move further and further east. Everyone's going to be rotating in their vehicles, and this is what a feed to the few teams that are still inside the circle. But there's a lot of action going down. HQA, a lot of trouble, and that's oh my god, Twinkles.
Oh boy, Twinkles, he's a madman, and now continuing to push out. Someone jumping out of the buggy, but getting finished off. Great teamwork there, and they pick up the kill. HQA is our first team out. Cameron, I don't think anyone would have guessed that.
No, not at all with their BMPL experience, but EFC are coming in hot, and they should be able to get the revival into Twinkles as well. They did lose Joey earlier on. Can't bring him back. He is dead 6 feet under for the rest of the round. And this fight finished off in a really good time as well, because they need to get on the move. It's going to be a really tricky approach for them. They're not going to have a lot of information. They haven't been able to scout out all too much, but they do have access to get on a little bit of high ground, which could give them some more line of sights to make some more informed decisions.
Yeah, Pro Era taking out one of these teams. Now the kill feed lighting up. We've already had another team eliminated in the process. Looks like Nova is in it. Cool2 was in the battle as well. Look at Godplay now getting in there against Chemical Cloud. So just lots of fighting happening around the map as we continue to follow along with Pro Era. They like their spot here. They did lose 2 in the rotation out though. So it was a costly fight, but Fears will continue to live on for the squad as Chemical Cloud now trying to reassess the damage. This is what we were talking about earlier. It's just, all right, smokes in a tree.
Yeah, and look how many teams, look how many colored Skittles, the varieties of candies on the mini-map. There's like 7 different colors here. I can't keep track of everyone, and more teams are approaching the further along we get.
Aches and Chemical Cloud just... They're on a ridge, and they're in a tough spot. Lots of little, height differences, but they're gonna... I think they're gonna just try to mark it off here. You got a couple of buggies that are nearby. You can use those to blow up and have that terrain as we take some shots from distance. Avery gonna throw another smoke, buy more time as... Wait to see what the zone does with them. The zone will be moving on in. So right now, in the direction they're looking, it is slightly out of the zone. They know that Cool2 BGBG are going to have to fight their way on in, which is why they're okay with holding this area.
Ooh, a couple more shots, a couple more knocks. Looking over here at BLW. They don't have the line of sight on to Chemical Cloud that they might have wanted to, but they are still in a solid high ground position to be one of the many teams that are gatekeeping teams like Cool2 out, like EFC out, who are having to make a wide wrapping rotation to come in just north of B-Town, as you can see on the mini-map.
Yeah, multiple team members of Cool2 BGBG just went down there. And Blackwater gatekeeping from distance. This is safe. They don't mind taking these shots here. Other teams will not be as equipped as they are to try and battle. As you can see, most of them having some sort of gun that plays at that type of distance. As the zone waiting to pop. Oh, this is just a hard shift one, Cameron. This is nuts.
This is terrible. Everyone they think they have a position, and then it just shifts away, and they got to get back into their vehicle. And that's what makes this entanglement of teams so difficult, because now these teams suddenly don't want to be here anymore, but they've already committed to the fight. Cold2, they've committed to the fight, or at least what remains of them. Now, Walls, well, he is not well, I think is a better name, because he is in the middle of like 3 different squads. Force the prone down. Good use of grenade, though. He gets a good knock on the Chemical Cloud. I don't know what opportunity he's going to be able to take from that personally, but that could wound Chemical Cloud enough for another team to come in and sweep up those kills.
He's literally surrounded. As much as he wants to focus on Chemical Cloud, he has to watch his back. He takes some shots, runs away. The passenger taking shots gets one. Avery goes down as well, not Walls. He's the one that made the big play for Cold2 in the very final map, and he comes up with 2 big ones here. Still alive, buying time. The last member of Chemical Cloud has to be able to come back and get some damage down, right? All their players now coming on in and stealing the kills away from Not Walls, which stinks, but he survives as he does a lot of damage to Chemical Cloud.
Yeah, unfortunately, he is out of meds. This is what you were looking at is his health pool for the remainder of this game, unless he's able to somehow get to those Chemical Cloud bodies and take some loot, but that's such a difficult play, a risky play. He's just gonna force it and try and run to the circle, but he spots another team that might be looking at him, forced to hide behind a tree. The chaos in the rotation, maybe he can find an opportunity.
Yeah, Blackwater, they were watching from distance for a while. They had to get down from their position and get back into the zone. They're in the zone, but now on the low ground, as it looks like Heroes Valoris will be right on top of them on the mountain. Nade coming in. Caesar will stay alive for a little bit longer. 2 more teams have been eliminated, now down to 11. Ooh, you heard that nade bounce. You heard another one nade bounce. You gotta be so scared right now if you're Caesar and Myth. They're like, yeah, we might be outside the zone, but I see you, dog. We'll just take those shots and rain down the nades.
That's a difficult thing because Blackwater, for a second, it looked like they were in a position to gatekeep, but they were on the low ground. It's incredibly difficult to gatekeep from the low ground when your opponents are on the high ground. So yeah, they might not be in the circle, but the lines it's they have are great. Another grenade comes out. Myth trying to get another frag. Well, it's an explosion in the air, and he has some team damage that comes through as well, but he's holding strong, standing strong.
What a spot here for Myth. Was able to buy a little bit of time, but his teammate got taken down by the long-time Accelerate member, Suzuki, now part of this God Play roster. And now we'll have a 1v1 against Myth here. 9 teams still remaining, as a lot of them still just hovering around this open area.
God,
it's just hills. It's just hills. Look at this, another hardship. And right now it's BT, the ones that are inside B-Town, the ones that were leading most of the way, being gifted by the circle. Only 2 team kills so far, but you could see their multiple teams just struggling. They wish they had the position that BT had.
Yeah, honestly, only 2 kills. I would take 4 up with low kills, considering how this game has gone, because everyone else is bleeding and wounded. It's a new word. They're limping. It's just an incredibly terrible position. So B-Town were able to basically stay alive, stay as 4, and go into the late game. They are in a solid position, not just in the circle, but also, I'm assuming, their loot, their kit, to really take over the rest of this map.
Suzuki's so focused right there. Look at the rotation by, is that Mazexis? Yeah, it's Mazexis now coming on in finally. Here it is. There's your welcoming party. It's fire everywhere. As there it is. Oh, one of the members gets taken down. It's Myth. That 1v1 turned into a 1v4. And Myth lost that one. He's out. Suzuki gonna work his way on in slowly, but he knows Mazexis will be looting that body and has the area. Rage is also on a flank here, holding off Not Walls, who's still alive. Not Walls is gonna take the fight, and he wins the fight against Rage. And Not Walls now finally has himself some equipment to use and will continue on. It looks like Suzuki died to the zone, but Not Walls, oh no, he's not gonna be able to see this nade coming. Nova getting ripped apart from distance by 24Z. And 24 just putting down the damage. Wow, Not Walls still alive. He did not get naded out yet.
Yeah, I'm waiting on that as well, because this could be a late game hero play. But the revive is coming through. Suzuki is going to stay with 3 up. They have 7 kills right now, and you could already see the powerful position that they have on this plateau, essentially, overlooking the rest of the field. Nova has been virtually, if not literally, deleted. We're only at 6 teams remaining, and of course, one of them is a solo!
There it is, finally.
Skirt got him!
I was gonna say, Skirt, how many nades you need, dude? It's 1v1 one guy right below you, but he was able to pick him up. Issa Jet in the wake of all that fight naded out Game Changers. Game Changers now out after a big, I think it was a 2 or 3 man grenade that he was able to get. Nice little view of the first person nade throw there by Thor. He's got a big army overthrew Nova and is just chucking all of his utility on out there. And you can see Chemical Cloud's Aches is over in the corner as well. But this is B-Town Esports' game to win with 4 members still alive out of the 11 and 5 teams still up.
So this shift, it's another hard shift, and if we're looking at the 2 top dogs in the lobby right now, it is of course going to be Masazuki as well as, Mazexis, as well as B-Town. With the shift like this, MZS, their real play is to push down through B-Town. So B-Town need to have an ironclad wall of defense to stop that potential push if they want to stay in a solid position.
Ren getting knocked there, as I think this is a 4v4. Yeah, it has to be 4v4. No, it's 4v3, v2, v1v1. So I think there's a couple of sneaky snakes and one duo of Nova still alive. You can see Aches, he's chilling. Yeah, nowhere for him to go. As this is the play, B-Town now starting to move around, smoke on up. They have the low ground against Mazexis, but they know they are still surrounded by a bunch of solo players. Aches is gonna start making his move on now. B-Town rotating out of the smoke that they threw down. This is a sneaky play. They said, hey, you actually have the middle ground. We're gonna take the high ground, but we just gotta go the long way around.
B-Town have had a nice little spread of each member's positioning, a little bit of a line in Orion's belt of control. Now the high ground is the part of their control that is not in this next circle, but they're going to want to use that position as much as possible with a few members on the inside. They have a grenade knock against Mazexis at the moment, so that's going to slow down this push. The blue is pushing in inch by inch. That's only going to be more pressure on Team 16.
Issa, another Molly. Does that get revenge? I think it did get revenge. He is burning a bit. As G-Fan not quite done yet. They're still hanging out in the corner. I think they're still inside the zone too. So they've got that hard cover and inside the zone. Look at the angles that G-Fan is shooting from. It's like underneath the vehicle, possibly through the window there. So G-Fan still always going to be a threat as long as he's alive. Now B-Town starting to pick off Mazexis up top. Remember, Mazexis, they were only 3 members against B-Town's 4. One of them knocked as Jat gonna work, Issa Jat still working his way on, and Krish picking up another one. That's Jonas going out finally. One of the sneaky snakes get taken out. That one, let's see, who else is still on Moonlight? That was Moonlight going out in 5th place.
Hey, for the team that was the most consistently consistent, 5th place on the first map isn't bad from the Lobby 1 champions, but who is going to take first spot here, H? Oh, Aches with grenades up close. He really wants to make B-Town ache. That looks like a prime position for a frag grenade. Come on, throw it. Throw it. Throw it.
There he goes. Gunshots happening during the distraction. And it's G-Fan able to get some damage down. Drake taking damage. Krish, they have no idea he's here. Skur looks to be like the last one left alive. Yes, he's the last one left alive by Mazexis, and these nades are just raining down. B-Town have no idea, and it looks like Aches is out of nades. Rin finally gets taken down. G-Fan trades back, but it's Issa taking down Skur, so it's just G-Fan the one left alive here by Nova. And BT thinking, like, yeah, it's got to be all over there. Aches, he's got an angle. He's got an opportunity here. But Thor is able to take down Rin. G-Fan is still alive. The man's a monster. He's been able to fight back here. In the smoke, these shots coming through. G-Fan has the first aid. Krish able to pick off a Rin. And then Aches picks up 1. Aches picks up 2.
Aches!
Holy cow! Aches is able to work his way all the way up to 3rd place. And now it's winnable for G-Fan. Yes, Drake is alive. Yes, Thor is alive. But we've seen him win these before.
Oh,
He already used the first aid. He has to
angle.
get down. The angle doesn't work out. And it's B-Town showing why they're the #1 team coming on in here until that final week. And they get themselves double digits and a chicken dinner.
Yeah, what was that at the end there? 12 kills. They came into the beginning of what we usually consider the start of the late game with only 2 kills. So they, with their solid hold on their position, was able to pick up frag after frag after frag. And Aches, with that double, almost made it winnable for G-Fan. But unfortunately, if he had gotten out the flanking B-Town player, which meant that it would have limited the scope of where G-Fan needed to pay attention to in the 1v2. That would have been a lot better of a position, but still, in that final engagement, that tree that G-Fan was around was just flanked on too many sides there.
Yeah, and the fact that they were able to survive that long, think about other teams that had better positions than them. They were on the outside for such a long time. I think Chemical Cloud was another one. Game Changers, they were all 4 up until the nades coming down from B-Town took them out. I think it was it was Issa Jat that was able to pick those up on a multi-man nade. And you think about that one, it was a lot of hard shifts, but no one really planted their flag in the ground early and then just gate kept. No one really did that until they were forced to do that around zone 4, zone 5.
Yeah, there was, as we expected from Circle 1, a lot of rotational drama. It's just that Circle 1 story carried throughout the entire game. There wasn't any real opportunity for a team to have a position to really post up until, of course, B-Town's excellent position there towards the late game. But it wasn't even the easiest hold for them. I think Issa, that you mentioned, who was almost defending from the north as a lone solo player. The rest of the team was still so worried about potential pressure from the west side, and they didn't want to, obviously you don't want a tunnel vision, but that was still a monumental effort by Issa.
Yeah, Issa, Aches was almost the thorn in their side, but B-Town and the rest of the squad able to pick up the victory there in our first game of the Ladder 2 finals. We'll break down all the action as we bring back on in Paul after the short break.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the ESL Mobile Open Finals. I'm in Verum, joined by Degon and Cameron Davis. And game number one, the circles were bad. They were mean. It was heard you like a hard shift, and then it may be another hard shift, and then maybe another hard shift, and it just kind of kept going from there. And through all of it, though, Degon, B-Town Esports somehow found a way to kind of keep their calm. It was kind of weird. They just looked unflappable. Oh, you're so muted, my friend.
There we go.
And we get one. I
love the fact that they were able to, when it was up against them and Mazexis as like the top teams in the lobby in terms of bodies still left, they were like, hey, we have a good position, but we don't feel great about it. And they turned that low ground into a, hey, they only have mid ground. We can go around and above them. That was a very cool play. You see so many teams not be willing to move around that type of situation and around that type of a place when they're comfortable like that. So that was a lot of fun to watch by B-Town.
Yeah, and remember that they were having to split their focus between a number of different situations. I forget which player it was on B-Town, but while the gradual push from the north was happening, he was still focused on Nova's position, trying to shoot under the vehicles, under the cars. They were having to deal with so many open loose ends, loose threads, and sure, there was a lot of wounded teams. They were the only full team of 4 at that moment, but when you have that many things you need to be aware of, comms can get incredibly cluttered, incredibly tricky, and that's potentially one of the reasons why Aches was able to deal as much damage as he did, but still, it was a very solid effort, even if it wasn't 100% perfect by B-Town to be able to secure that win.
And one of the things, I was watching the kill feedback, and it was crazy hectic there near the end, but they were getting nade kills left and right. You guys commented on it, how they really only had 2 kills coming into the late game, but they finished with at least 10 more, I think exactly 10 more. After all that, they were doing work with their nades. There's actually a lot of really impressive gameplay, and Cam, we're going to take a look back at it, because this game had a slow start, but when it heated up, oh boy, was it hot.
Yeah, this game did not want the slowness to continue through. This is like, you guys are gonna, if you're not gonna fight, you are gonna be in the scariest traffic jam of your entire life. And just look at this situation here that Chemical Cloud and how many other teams around them got caught in because of these hardships, because of the hardships bringing them over Severny specifically.
Yeah, and think about Chemical Cloud, that they got knocked out early. Think about how many times players did that, right? Not walls as well for Cool2 BGBG. There was a lot of great hero plays to get the position points that they did, right? A lot of players this was just not a great map for team play. This was just grit and picking the right time to make your move. And even Nova through G-Fan and Rin were able to do that multiple times.
Here's Aches backstab here, able to get that heavy bit of damage, but the blue, of course, makes it a little easier for the G to take control in the end. Aggressive push by Thor, does not want to give G-Fan an inch. As we see that end game finish from another team's perspective. And okay.
So it was actually Nova Esports that had 12 kills. It was B-Town that had 8. So despite how crazy that finish was, Nova actually ended up doing more damage. G-Fan and Rin surviving for as long as they did, absolutely wild. They were able to sort of usurp them there. So despite the fact that B-Town Esports gets our first chicken dinner, they don't actually have that first place spot. That does not happen too often. Props to Mazexis, though, of course, Chemical Cloud mentioned as well. Moonlight CN making that 5th place position, a couple of sneaky snakes, and we have to give some props talking about Cult2 BGBG with Not Walls, who Degon lived through everything? Everything.
Yeah, I forgot who was above him, chucking nades at him, and it was like, it took 10 nades to finish him off, but man, Not Walls is definitely a survivor as we take a look at the bottom half of the leaderboard. A couple teams that had a lot of movement that just didn't quite get anything from it. I think Blackwater is one of those teams. Like, we followed them a couple times, and we saw them zip on in, and they were the unlucky one that moved first and just found a poor spot to be in. And then helping Quit Addiction, just getting killed in transition, that put them down a couple players, and they only found themselves 1 kill. So helping Quit Addiction looking to bounce back and try to chase the lobby chicken dinner leaders. I guess second place team right now, B-Town Esports here. Issa Jat with the nades going on in and going crazy.
And I think one of the big things to remember with B-Town is that they were really, really consistent week over week over week. And that's what you need to have at this point. Obviously, they got usurped right at the end there, but this is still a team to watch. And of course, another team we have to keep an eye on were the winners of ladder number 1, Cam, because Moonlight, you talked about consistently consistent. That's a tough thing to do in PUBG Mobile, but they did it in those first finals.
Yeah, and even if you might be a little disheartened to see them qualify for this finals in 9th place, they qualified to ladder 1 finals in 8th place. So this is, it's only been one game, but it is kind of looking like it might be a repeat of history, or at least we should say Moonlight are playing their win condition once again, where you don't often get a lot of super hype plays out of them, but their baseline level of expectation round after round in terms of placements with a few kills sprinkled in is higher than a lot of other teams' average.
Yeah, but that's what it seems like B-Town's new MO is. So if B-Town's able to keep it up, especially given the fact they already got the chicken dinner out of the way early and are almost leading the lobby, it'll be great for them.
Actually leading the lobby. We had a slight typo on our leaderboard. The kills for Nova and B-Town were switched. You guys were
good.
right.
My math, okay.
Your math was correct. Your math was correct. So B-Town is the lobby leaderboards as well as getting that chicken dinner. So they're looking in great spot right now. Nova, though, still very much hot on their heels. But all is right in the world as we head into a break to get the players settled, getting into our next game. We'll be back in a few.
Now on Miramar, B-Town holding the lead, but they've fallen from grace before. Can they maintain it this time around? In contrast, of course, to their leaderboard positioning. I'm Cameron Davis, joined by Degon, and this is the ESL Mobile Open Ladder 2 Finals. Game 2, Desert, straight up plane path. Let's get it on.
Hello, it is us. Whenever we go ahead and swap on over to Miramar, I expect a slower game. I expect slower rotations, but that last one actually, I think, took the cake in us playing slow because of the circle. We were saying, oh, well, B-Town may be the winner of the round, but I think the star of the show of game 1 was indeed the zones. The zone gods. They were like, hey, I'm tired of watching these. I'm tired of them getting all the credit. I want some credit. We're just going to jerk them around the map there. I want to see teams now take more advantageous positioning early on and getting to decide when they fight, which is what you can do in Miramar given how much space there is, right? If you, as you can see, Krish is doing a very good job constantly tilting his camera to see, hey, who's nearby? Am I getting hot dropped? If not, now I have information on where another team could possibly be. Again, given the fact that these teams just don't play in the same lobby together all the time.
Oh yeah, BT, oh, if my color coding on looking at them and putting them on the map is correct, yeah, they're being not necessarily hot drop, but they're contesting for a position, and I'm not exactly sure on where Moonlight CN, the grade team, the team that is landing right around them, are going to be going off of this drop. This is going to make things incredibly complicated. Fortunately, the circle does stay down towards the south, which means that Moonlight could try and find another salvage loot location that could be in a good position in the circle around Los Leones.
Yeah, you've got, I think, it's Fly and Yang there for Moonlight. They're together. So you got 2 2s for Moonlight, and then Faker and Jonas next to each other. But then BT, they're all spread out. So ESL, Krish, Thor, and Drake are creating like a little circle, semicircle around the 2 inside La Bendita.
Oh my god, they're being trapped. They're being corralled. This is like a rodeo. Oh, this is going to be really, really bad. Oh, they're like hyenas. They're like mountain lions. They're stalking their prey.
It's kind of crazy. We only had 1 team drop Los Leones, but we have multiple teams in Hacienda Water Treatment, San Martin.
No Picado.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams kind of in that area. Yeah, no Picado. There's going to be a lot of loot when people rotate on in.
Yeah, like, wait, no one was here. Are you kidding me? Oh, no. Okay, Issa, letting the shots fly. Not too much damage, though.
Yeah, not
So
as
I wonder
great
if that was perhaps
with the
a
gun.
missed opportunity.
Not as great with the gun as he was with the nades.
Yeah. Hey, sometimes you just put your skill points into different weapon types. It's all about balance. Krish is taking a lot of damage as well. I'm not entirely sure which of these 2 players that came from. But at the very least, you know that Moonlight know that something is up if they didn't already. The problem is Issa wants to finish us off, but then here comes backup.
Yeah, they took a little too long, and here it comes. It's the duo system, and they might not even need it, as Yang's able to win the 1v1 against Krish and pick up an early knock. Here comes Faker and Jonas, I believe, are the other duo here. And now they have
the VSS
control of it.
Yeah, they have the high ground as well. If they can get Drake out of commission, this could be incredibly strong for Moonlight, considering the only 2 other members of BT are on the low ground, with Moonlight now on the high ground. Thor's readying. He's got a mini 14. Can do some heavy damage with this, but he doesn't have a helmet. He's got armor, but a headshot's going to take him out of commission significantly faster, which is perhaps one reason why he's playing this particularly safe.
That's a working buggy behind him, right? Oh, he's got a mad dash for it. There you go. Zig and zag.
Bail,
get inside.
bail.
Get out. And this is kind of why B-Town hit this type of formation around it, right? They wanted to corral. It was 4 1s, but all looking at the same spot. In case someone somehow fluffed their lines, they would be able to get themselves out to safety. But now ESL, the last one, still stuck inside. Should be able to get out, but still, B-Town will be able to recover from this early mishap.
I mean, it's possible that Issa gets out, but if I'm remembering his previous location on the low ground of that dip, Moonlight could easily now do what BT tried to do for them, which is like get the full surround, get the high ground pressure, and really like put themselves in a position to potentially get a second kill. It's on to B-Town to make the decision. Do we want to spend resources, and by that I mean time and utility, to try and get our second teammate out? Because on one hand, they can guarantee that they have 2 safe players, but that's only 2. But if they send everyone back in to try and get Issa, they could end up losing even more players than just a second. So it's a really rough decision that B-Town have now suddenly found themselves in, when just moments ago they were in the advantage.
We'll have to keep an eye on how that one plays out, as EasyJet will try to work their ways around Ladder 1 champions Moonlight CN. Other teams rotating on in. Here it is, Sleeping Pro, or yeah, Sailing Pro. I keep getting Sleeping Forest messed up, right? Sailing Pro yeah. Rotating themselves around. You've got a 3-1 split here. So you have Sirio, Meyer, and one other still with each other. Andy still together. Edwin is way on his lonesome to the south. He is not near anybody. I don't know what Edwin is doing. So the 3 other players of Sailing Pro will be sailing as a trio. Heroes, Valoris, they are rotating themselves around together as well. That is the closest team to not only Sailing Pro, but also Nova, who were the second lobby leaders, second place right now, and favorites coming on into it.
There are a shocking number of teams that have yet to really make the rotation through. In fact, there are 2 squads that are already in the blue on the tippy top north side. One of them could be in a little bit of trouble. Nameless driving through Godplay's area of control. I don't think this is going to be a real engagement. I can see Nameless rotating out more towards the east. But Godless, they are staying put, and they want to try and get some rotation kills, not just from Nameless, but also I believe that's another team rotating past their southern player.
Just slow rotation. As expected, we got a little early action as, again, no one went to Picado.
No one went to Picado. It's so weird. And the loot is great. The rotations are pretty solid. It's dead center, but also just the actual paths out of the city make the rotations really solid. But yeah, this is what I mean. Godplay are now in the blue, rotating, taking slight damage. Their camp on Nameless to the north didn't amount to anything. Still 0 kills, 0 points from this round. And now they're gonna have to come into the circle late with their tails between their legs. But Nameless also in a very similar situation. Daniel here is applying a bandage because of how long they've been in the blue, which his meds look solid, but not solid enough for being comfortable tanking a lot of blue in the early game.
And the other team having to rotate on in is Game Changers. They are to the northwest of both of these teams. You can see them over there. Game Changers, Mazexis rotating around from the west. And Chemical Cloud hoping not to have Aches have to do the sneaky snake route yet again, trying to find somewhere to camp on in. This second zone is going to be quite telling for us. Where are we going, y'all? There we go.
Okay, another shift towards the south. So this is good for a couple of the teams because there are so many open fields, especially around La Bendita area. Here, that is not the case. There are a couple of fields scattered amongst the rocky areas toward the south side, but still in Los Leones in general can be a very, very exciting place to play. Flip side, a very complicated place to play. So we'll see if this commits to the city full time. Right now we have a couple of teams that have already spotted each other out. HQA, they went out first last game. Hopefully they can make some adjustments and not have that happen a second time in a row.
Yeah, and they're taking shots over here at Sleeping Forest. Sleeping Forest, again, participants in Ladder 1, finished in the top half, looking to build upon that, and again, have a difficult task in front of them with an established team like HQA in front.
Neither of these teams are in the circle. You can see the border of Phase 2 just sneak in on the mini-map. So Sleeping Forest, I don't know how much information they have on HQA. They probably hear at least a little bit of those engines as they pull away. So Kuhn's going to be giving that information back to the rest of the squad. Hopefully they have a vehicle to now drive away and join up at. Where is the rest of Sleeping Forest, actually? I assumed that this would have been a full squad, but it actually turns out that Qin might have just been a lone straggler caught off guard and trapped.
Yeah, I think Qin was there with the rest of the team because HUA and them were gatekeeping each other. But it looks like Dios and the rest of the squad decided to move on into the circle and give them safety so that he can retreat on back to his Krish. Has already been knocked out here for our lobby leaders in B-Town Esports, and we've got ourselves maybe another fight. Pro Era looks like they don't want to fight too early as well. Again, BT, as much as it felt like it would be difficult for them to loot up, this is pretty good loot here for Isajat, as they had to go outside the zone and now have to go back where they basically came from. Inside
Yeah,
La
that's
Bendita.
that's an AWM on Issa, on his back. Surely,
Not
right?
bad.
I'd say that's really, really good loot. Not exactly sure how Issa was able to get out of that really tricky situation that he was with Moonlight. I have to assume that the shift down towards the south has given him that opportunity. But nonetheless, still really good for B-Town to stay up as 3. And now HQA, of course, also rotating in with their nice-looking vehicles, by the way.
I know, man. That looks like some PMPL
I wouldn't
type
drive
stuff.
I would not drive those on like the desert mountains like they are. That's got to do terrible damage to the underside. But finds an opportunity for a frag. Come on, one more shot, one more bullet. There it is.
There it is, and it's Pro Era's Twinkles getting taken down early here as our second kill in the lobby. There's a lot of Mad Maxing going on the eastern, I guess, highway. A lot of people coming down the coastline there, but no kills from Godplay and Nameless. They just decide to drive side by side. Not the case here for Helping Quit Addiction as they shoot down the Pro Era member. Zone will be popping very soon. BT, the only team not inside quite yet without a clear path. Nameless, actually, also, sorry, rotating on in. Where are we going? Are we staying central? Did the teams that moved early? No, it moves off of Los Leones. And this is going to be a lot of terrain kind of circle here, Kami.
Yeah, really good shift for Mazexis. You can see they're just now landing. They're also right on top of another squad. It's actually be Cold to BGBG who are trying to contest this rotation. Rulo running out, sending a couple of shots, but Mazexis do get out before they take any too much damage from Cold2 BGBG. And now Cold2's in a really solid position to stabilize their full hold, but they don't want to play in a 2-2. They're too worried about that. They're going to all group up as one, just commit to one compound. They're not going to bite off too much. They don't want to accidentally bite off more than they can chew. And they're just going to sit here and control the center of the circle as best they can.
Well, that was G-Fan getting blown up out of his vehicle. So the top fragger there for Nova getting taken out early. So Nova's going to have to play on now with only 3 here. Specifically, you know, one of the most hyped players in all of PUBG in the North American region.
I mean, there's a reason why. He is an incredibly strong player. However, if my memory serves me correctly, this is not uncommon. To see G-Fan have a really solid game and then the next game go out super, super early. He's a very hot and cold player. But that's why the rest of the team being able to step up recently is really good for their chances throughout this entire 5-map sprint.
Yeah, specifically here on Miramar, I do remember their one super fan maybe coming on and talking about it for a little bit. Maybe I can't quite fully remember if people remember Bad Luck Brian came on. That was one of my most favorite bits I've ever done. As we follow along here, squad still rotating around. Cool 2, making sure that Mazexis got out, trying to win off that affair between their fellow Mexican organization. And Cool 2, again, they were so dang close to winning ladder number 1 here in season 1. As we got ourselves a scrap going on here.
Woo! That's the full confirmed there. But HGV Myth also in a little bit of a fight. Trying to clean up. Gotta play more and more, and that's a second.
Ooh, and look at that. Myth able to pick that one up there. Z-Hack's getting taken down, and so Heroes team Valoris, we didn't get to see much of them in that last game. Able to pick up 1 kill right now. Zukana is a little hurt, but still okay. And so Godplay forced to back on off. Asuzuki and Cypher, the last two left alive. You can see Cypher trying to drive his vehicle out. Oh no, Cypher's vehicle got stuck in the ditch. And now Zukana has a beam on him. And it's up to Asuzuki to decide, do I stay? Do I go? What is he gonna do? Get to the vehicle and says, see you later, buddy. Good luck.
Ooh, Erangel shooting through the smoke. And there's more being involved. B-Town are arriving with the big, long, rapid rotation trying to come in from the southeast, and this is starting to look more complicated than I think HTV or even Godplay were really hoping for.
Yeah, and the circle has popped. It is going north now. We are, again, circle being the star of the show here. It's another hard shift, as you could see. Only got a couple teams inside, and Cammy, there's a lot of buildings to that northeast area. That looks like a whole lot of nothing there inside the zone.
Yeah, remember when I said that there were maybe a few open fields, or at least what kind of acts like an open field? This area is one of those. This is looking like very similar terrain to the previous map on Erangel, which means that if you are able to get there early, you're in a good position. But I don't know how many teams are going to see in the center. In fact, Cole 2, for example, they might not want to be moving at all from their current position.
Well, the fight that we're seeing right here with Heroes Team Valoris, this is like way outside the zone. This is that southeast area. These guys deciding they're gonna wait on their rotate as BT will decide to move on in earlier. Myth and the rest of the squad now like, oh, well, everyone left. There's no one for us to fight. Maybe we should go. And they now will rotate themselves on in behind Nameless and Sailing Pro, so their work will be cut out for them as this zone hurts.
Not just that, they're going to be coming across a bunch of players, more than usual on the edge. Right before the map closed, you still saw on the map, the picture-in-picture, that the center of the circle was wide open. Everyone is sticking around the edge, which means that if you're a latecomer, there's going to be perhaps more contention than you're really expecting, than you're really hoping for.
Oh, Daniel and KB won't be able to make it on in. Nice shots there by Edwin to get a knock. The finish has not come quite yet. Oh, there's the finish, I think. Zeno getting taken out. Lots of fights starting to happen right now. The kill feed's starting to light on up. Cross is on your screen, trying to fight back against Sleeping Force. Sleeping Force got an early knock onto Chiwang. That's why his health bar is low, but they're able to get him back up. We're helping quit addiction. This is on the northeastern side of the map, and now we've got Moonlight that will be joining this fight, and it's going to be happening very quickly. Cross is starting to push on up with the rest of his team, and they have to act because they're getting axed. You can see on the minimap right there, on the right part of the map, another team rotating on in, and Moonlight will be staking their claim to this position, saying, hey, we don't mind if we take this land here. Thank you very much. As Chiwang now able to get a knock onto Dios. And so Sleeping Forest now on the back foot. Nice flank here by Cross, and he does not miss. Lasers right into Allen, and Sleeping Forest had the initial good look. Now starting to fall apart here. Nice little knock back by Bizzles. I think he's the last one left up here for Sleeping Forest. Is helping quit addiction. Have one knocked, more coming on in, possibly, as June Baby is down. Yep, June Baby gets finished off, and it's Moonlight saying, hey, thanks for all the work, Sleeping Forest. We're awake now. We'll take those points.
Yeah, Moonlight, this is not accidental or coincidental. You saw that they just put in, they got the post set up into position to be able to execute once the fight had already broken up. HQA were relying a lot on Cross's wide flank, but as a solo player, you can't check every single corner efficiently, and he does end up getting taken down, and that's where things started to fall apart for HQA. Only two of them up. One of them is still in the blue.
Yeah, HUA, they're in another tough spot. We didn't expect this team to struggle as much as they have. They've been running into a couple of tough fights as we follow along with Heroes Team Valorce. Able to get a knock. Will they pick up the kill here? Yep, Sailing Pro. Oh, a little answered back by our boy Pandy. He's picking one off there. Won't be able to get the finish, but the healing does come on in. It does look like Sleeping Force has finished off helping quit addiction. A 16th place finish and now a 15th place finish here for helping quit addiction. That's not what you want to see from that squad, as now Sailing Pro under a lot of pressure now as Valoris is coming on in. It looked like there was a vehicle explosion as Edwin is now the only one left on up to try and pick up his teammates, and Myth trying to prevent that from happening.
You see HTV, they're just trying, they're doing actually a solid job of clearing the space around them and the space in front of them, but they still have to push through team after team after team. Not committing too heavily on a team that's still outside of the circle. Now they're pushing forward into the warehouse, but a knock against them, trying to push them through Nova's territory.
That's tough. And again, this area, not a lot of space. The circle is in the middle of a road. There's not hills. There's 1 or 2 buildings. I think Blackwater has control of one and Nova has control of the other. That's why Nova's picking up a ton of points right now. Chemical Cloud finishing off Mezexis. So Mezexis going out here after they got aggressive against their fellow their national team mates, I guess, in Col2 BGBG. They're the ones that have to pay this time. Moonlight gets finished off, and it's Sleeping Forest, the ones that stay alive. Look at Sleeping Forest. They're still on up. Remember, they were down to just 1 member.
They have 4 members still alive right now, and a pretty big widespread. We'll see if that ends up punishing them later on. But if you have an opportunity to try and take control of a circle in the way that they have right now, considering the center was so empty of players, go for the play, go for the Hail Mary execute. And now that they have a solid position on the center, but we're still going to be looking here at HTV of trying to find a semblance of safety. More utility is forced to come out and try and keep Nova pressured away, but that still doesn't make their position too comfortable.
Yeah, and B-Town Esports, they're out in 10th. So your lobby leaders not garnering that many points. I think they got 0 kills as well. So it was a thank you for playing here in map number 2 for B-Town as the gunshots just raining down. You can hear them all over. And this is what I was talking about. We have a great visual there by Kewen. Blackwater has a fantastic warehouse where they're just chilling, and it looks like Hero Team Valoris wants to take one of the other compounds. This is on the southern part. They're going up against lobby favorites Nova as Zucana just running in with reckless abandon. Here comes the rest of the team. It's just Rin, the last one left alive, and he gets chunked out and taken down from distance. It was Tamal that takes it. And so I think that's Nameless picking up that kill there.
The difficult things about this barn, about these warehouses, is how open one of the sides always is. And so HTV, I think they did a lot of damage onto Nova. We saw how much utility was thrown in. I'm sure one of them got a knock of the 2 starting knocks that allowed them to make this push. But you can see that their control isn't even that great, because look, damage is still coming in from the northern side. BLW in their own warehouse, they have a couple of boxes to play around. They're trying to utilize their position while they can now, because I don't know how much in the circle that warehouse is.
Yeah, they're going to have to move. But Hero Team Valoris, 9 kills so far for this team that went out so quietly in map number 1. Sleeping Forest now taking a lot of damage from teams all across. Oh, what a shot from distance. Actually, it was... No, yeah, that was it. Okay, Dios was the one that was able to pick that one off there. So another team going out. That's Top Esports? It's... one of the other squads that are still there. Yeah, Top League Esports getting taken down, but you can see Sleeping Forest now. They're trying to gatekeep Blackwater from getting on in, but Blackwater is in. It is outside of the warehouse, but they've got themselves a height advantage. Norzaboy only gives himself up if he's forced to peek. Looting up the homie. Whoa! A little close. Not sure what he picked up there. I think there's a couple of energy drinks.
Very useful. Look at the damage from range that's being thrown out. That's gonna be
this
it
is gonna be a 2 or 3
Cloud.
team. This is gonna be a 2 or 3 team lobby that's just like stacking up all the points here. As Blackwater now cashing on in to their great position. Sleeping Forest found a way to get it done here. We thought that the consistent team was going to be the one that won the last one in Moonlight CN, the whole ladder. This is their whole thing, but Moonlight get taken out by Sleeping Forest, another one of the squads from ladder number 1, and now Sleeping Forest still surviving for a little bit longer. Allen's in a tough spot now, though. Allen is living in smokes. We're down to 3 teams. That went fast and furious. The other team still left alive is Heroes Team Valoris. They have themselves 3 members still up.
Hey, the shift goes in Sleeping Forest's way. And now it is going to be on HTV and Blackwater to try and fight it out and maybe Sleeping Forest have an opportunity to try and take this win depending on how much damage these two squads do to each other. The vehicles, I'm assuming, are healthier for Blackwater. In fact, you see the first vehicle actually be sent out already. Whoa. This is where Allen needs to come in huge.
Oh no, the vehicle! It did damage, and now it gives a great piece of cover here for Allen, and Tamal just runs it. Straight sends it. And Alan says, thank you very much for your express delivery for this gift. What the heck?
Why would you send it as a solo like that? At least take a partner with you. You should know that it's only one guy there. The rest of Blackwater here is now finally pushing up on foot in grenade range. So this is the real threat to Alan's position, where they need to be aware of HTV.
That Molly, I think, went a little too far for Allen. Allen, again, getting chunked a bit there as well with the nades. The frag's doing well. Molly not so good. And with all the nades being rained down and the focus being put onto Allen, here comes the rest of Heroes Team Valoris. They're wrapping around, and Myth is going to like what he sees here when he finishes this turn.
Another grenade. Still behind cover. I think that one... Ooh, actually good damage. Doesn't get the knock, but it's gonna keep Blackwater honest. Okay, runs through, picks some more utility up. What do you got? More grenades?
Oh, Blackwater. Oh, they found Zucana, and now the focus is switched. Allen realizes what's happening. Allen has a fighter's chance here. Now that Blackwater's focus has changed, and Heroes Team Valoris is like, yeah, okay, maybe we got too cheeky on the wraparound. Look at this 17 first aids here for Allen, dude.
No, he could tank out a lot of damage if need be. The problem is, after that first kill that he got in this late game, no one else has died between HTV and Blackwater, which means that his chances of being able to win this game as a solo is only getting smaller and smaller. These teams need to fight. These kills need to happen in order to make it more even odds for Sleeping Forest.
I kind of don't like this by Blackwater. They do have the numbers advantage, but if they go try to chase Allen, as Quan is trying to triangulate where this is happening, if they chase Allen, they're giving up the high ground. So he goes in, staying a little bit further back. He has a smoke nade on him, and he realizes, okay, I'm safe. I'm in a good spot. How are the meds? How are the meds for Blackwater? Because I feel like they've been dealing with this pesky Allen for a little while, to the point where they lost a lot of them. And Allen's like just chilling. Yeah, I got 17. Yeah. It's cool.
Allen's fine. He's been bankrolled to the moon, essentially, is what it is. He's like one of those kids that comes into class with like a full backpack, strap over his chest. It's full of like 70,000 pencils and textbooks and like water and snacks. He's fine. He can go backpacking for like weeks on end.
Yeah, Quan has 32 bandages. That's not equivalent to what Allen has. Nor's a boy. He's had 0. We've seen that one before already. And Allen, I think, is going to be fine doing this. Thank you very... Oh, no!
What?
Did he do it at the wrong time? What is he
must have. No! That was the prime opportunity to try and get a second place. That was the right play. With as healthy as HTV and Blackwater both were, him trying to go for first was a long shot. But wait for them to fight, and with that many meds, heal up into second place. But you have to be able to execute it properly. It's all on the timing.
That was a mistake, right? All right, well, yeah. We got to finish this fight on out here as Quan, he tries to take one. Nice little shot there by Myth. Quan is the front liner. Myth trying to be the back liner. Doesn't work out. Blackwater, the team that got there first, held the warehouse, get themselves so many kills and a chicken dinner. What a way to close that one out. But you got to feel for Allen a little bit. He was gifted. It was like the bag of money that you find on the ground. Or like, hey, what's this? And then didn't get to use it.
It's like while picking it up, a bus comes by and reams it.
Oh man, dude, that was definitely a tough one to watch and finish on out. But again, another game where we didn't have like safe circles, and we saw a couple teams try to set up camps early and punish. Yeah. One of those teams being Heroes Team Valoris. They did try to do that early. Remember, they tried to lock off B-Town Esports way in the southeast early on.
Oh,
and
yeah.
B-Town was like, yeah, I don't want to deal with this. At least we saw a couple teams decide to get a little more aggressive earlier.
Yeah, HTV actually had a very, very difficult path into the late game here, constantly fighting through team after team after team. And so the fact that they're able to come into the late game so healthy is a testament to their abilities as a squad to play together through thick, through thin. It was just a really bad situation on that final standoff against BLW, having to push over the high ground like that, where BLW can just third-person peek you until the sun sets. Still a very solid second place, but even better first place for BLW.
Yeah, again, Moonlight felt like they had the game, like they just had that perfect wraparound. We'll get to see that and more when we break things down with Paul in just a little bit. Stick around. You're watching the ESL Mobile Open Finals.
All I ever do is think about you. Is think about you. All I ever do is think about you. Is think about you. All I ever do is think about you. Is think about you. All I ever do is think about you. Is think about you. All I ever do is think about you. Is think about you. All I ever do is think about you. Is think about you. All I ever do is think about you. Is think about you. All I ever do is think about you. Is think about you. All I ever do is think about you. Is think about you. All I ever do is think about you. Is think about you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the ESL Mobile Open. I'm in Verum. That's Degon and Cameron Davis. And game number 2 is in the books. Before we talk about it too much, because there's a lot to break down from that last one, I need to take us off the script a little bit and talk about AnyKey, which is a fantastic organization with an even better initiative in the Good Luck Have Fun pledge. Over 1 million folks have signed the signature in the last year, or signed the pledge in the last year, adding their signature to an awesome collection of folks looking to improve diversity and inclusion in gaming and esports. Is something we're really big fan of here at ESL. A lot of great initiatives going on in that right now, but of course, the Good Luck Have Fun pledge is one that's very near and dear to our hearts. Of course, you get an exclusive badge on Twitch if you do sign. Basically says, hey, I'm taking a stance against toxicity in online games, which is always a good thing to do. AnyKey.org to get more information about that, or you can watch this video, so check it out.
My name is Jordan Gilbert, aka Nothing.
Hi, my name is Sue Lee. My handle is Smix. I think it's important for these initiatives to happen. Empathy really, really goes a long way, and it always means so much to us, and I think that's where initiatives like this really help.
I encourage everyone in the community, anytime they see bullying, anytime they see someone getting called names, I encourage you to step up and say something.
Good luck, have fun.
Good luck, have fun.
Well, you heard it there, ladies and gents. I highly recommend you go to AnyKey.org and check that out. But let's get back to the PUBG Mobile action. Degon, Cameron, that last game, it was like quiet and then hype. And then the last couple circles, Cameron, it was tense.
Yeah, it's not uncommon to see that in the end game, depending on the terrain, whether this happens or not, but it is not uncommon where once we're down to 2-3 teams, there's so much on the line. The scaling of those those points from every single position up from like 4th and beyond makes every single decision like that much more crucial and that much more impactful. And there's always this whole decision between, do we want to be the first ones to move because that could put us in a solid position and like have priority, but then we can also be shot in the back if we do so. And there's always like, it's always like that nice like Western standoff with the doodaloo and then the hay bales rolling through, and it's just the two gunmen in the deserted town waiting to see who fires first sort of situation.
A showdown?
Standoff.
Yeah, that's what it's
Those
called.
are tumbleweeds.
Standoff.
Degon, let's take a look back at that.
But you know what?
Let's take a look back. Let's do that.
Well, I think this all started with this first standoff because Krish and BT, I think, thought they had them, and then they got turned around upon, and it wasn't what they thought it was, and it was one of those kind of situations. And then HTB took over, right? This first initial kill, I was like, oh, okay, you're taking down HQA. That's not too bad. Then HQA picking a fight here with Sleeping Forest, and remember that's Alan getting knocked first. He was the last one to survive between all of those teams that were there. Sailing Pro coming in as our #1 seed. Again, just haven't been able to put it together yet. And they get caught out here by Heroes Team Valoris. And it seemed to really revitalize Hero Team Valoris.
Yeah, you can see them jumping not just from position to position to get in the circle. They're choosing key positions that are available on the map to deal that damage and to make those openings like the high ground overlooking that team to the south there. And then it also gave them an opportunity to cozy up against Nova's Shack and build a bit here on elsewhere on the south. Nameless and Kultu and all of these teams trying to do similarly what HTV did so successfully, not so successfully for them.
Yeah, I was wondering what happened in that area. Coltu finished the game with like 7 or 8 kills, something like that, but we didn't quite get to see it because of all of this action that was happening here with Sleeping Forest, with Moonlight CN, and then Blackwater coming on in and being buds here for the rest of Sleeping Forest. And then we had ourselves this showdown where, oh man, Norza Boy gets to watch his teammate just completely send it one more time from Alan's point of view. That's gotta be scary. You're like multi-zoomed into this one and just the car's like, shroom.
Yeah. I mean, obviously in a 1v1, it's essentially a 50-50. So that could have easily have been VLW putting themselves in a solid position with 4 up. Here's the final push here from HTV, and then the constant peeking and team firing from Blackwater to secure them the win here. Again, just look at the terrain that HTV have to work with on these final moments. It is not great, it's not super comfortable, but it's the only move available to them.
Yeah, and you know, I really like the way Norza Boy played that last fight out. Just pop it up, shooting 4, going back down, and he did that about 3 or 4 times in a little burst until they wanted to finish him off. And so Blackwater, Mexico get themselves a chicken dinner and now have sole position of first place over B-Town Esports, who scored a big fat 0 in that last game.
Yeah, it's not that much of a lead between first and second place, but it does feel good being the first team to break 30 points within 2 games. So they're definitely looking good so far.
As we take a look at the second page here, I mean, some names are definitely jumping out at me. Moonlight CN, our ladder one leaders, not there on the first page. Sailing Pro, the team that came into today in first place on the leaderboard in last. They have 1 point, I believe, to their name. And HQA down there as well. Not having a great time overall, but a team that had a great time in that last match. It was Blackwater, Mexico. They got themselves in a solid position, got a little bit of circle luck, but boy, did they defend it well, allocating just enough resources to hold off those various flanks, because let's be honest, there was a little bit of pressure they were facing there towards the end. And of course, by this other team that we have to take a look at here as well, down in some of these final circle situations. Here's Team Valoris, and Degon, what's so cool about this is these are teams that we're not super familiar with. They don't have a long story history in the Mobile Open.
Yeah, Heroes Team Valoris, watching the way Zucana has been playing around this one. He's the one that died first in the very first map over to Nova, but that's because, as we got to see in this map, he's your opening fragger. He's the one getting the information for your team. And the fact that you have someone being willing to play that position, entry fragging, and being your scout is very important, because if you just get 4 players playing the same role and they want to get the kills, that makes it a little harder. But if you have someone that is proficient at scouting, proficient at seeing where the other teams are, and good at it, that helps a ton. And that's why HCV, we followed them a lot in that last map. They were all over the place, but they got a lot of information and found themselves in top 2.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to add to that. Yep, Cameron's just nodding in agreement as well. Look, they did a lot of things well there at the end. Weren't quite able to clutch it out, having that numerical disadvantage, but we'll see if they can change their fortunes going into map number 3. We're going to head to a short break. When we come back, I have to get map number 3. We'll see you in a few.
I'm ready for it.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the ESL Mobile Open. It's game number 3, and it is my favorite one. Time for some Sanhok. Enough of this slow, weird circles forcing you to move around. This one, you just fight whenever you want because everyone's going to hear you afterwards, and you might as well pick up the kills. A team I am expecting to pop off is Cool2 BGBG. It was a slow game for them until it was fast earlier than everybody else. They picked up 7 kills. And so Cool2, I think, will thrive in this type of environment.
Yeah, hopefully. It hasn't been the greatest of games for them. They're currently sitting, if you remember the leaderboard, in 6th place with 22 points. That's only 11 points below first place, and even closer to, of course, the positions between them. And so I do think I agree with you that they're a squad that could easily thrive in this sort of environment in Circle 1. I mean, Circle 1 on Sanhok is always Sanhok, so that's not going to be too much of a surprise. But this still all but guarantees, unless we see some ridiculous hard shifts once again, that it is going to be the main Eastern Island.
Let's see, any teams hot dropping on each other? Doesn't look like it unless I missed something.
Kampong? Southeast?
Okay, yeah. There it is. They're on top of each other. It's helping quit addiction.
And
They
it's
can't
HQA,
seem to.
no!
Yeah, they can't seem to catch a break, dude.
Hey, they got the first knock in this engagement, so that's at least a little bit of a start, but this wouldn't be the first time that they got the first knock and end up losing the war. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, we haven't talked too much about Top League Esports yet, and it'll be, and it's funny because I did say that earlier about Hero Team Valoris, and then they popped off. Oh, never mind. El Crushito just got crushed.
Okay, a little bit of an
Motorama.
overextension.
Oh, no,
what? The micro.
Motorama gets
Get
2
the reload.
Oh, the reload not quite there, but they picked up 2, and so now Chiwang has to check his corners, make sure he's okay. Yeah, crowned. Is he going to go for it? I think he should go for it. He's looking for the final member.
He's in the middle of a 1v1.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
I see. This is great stuff here by Cross. Cross was just like, yeah, come fight me. Now Crowned, try to pre-fire, not quite getting it. Yeah, and Crowned is like, dang it. I got you baited. As he's going to be the only one left alive. He's going to turn tail and try to survive for the rest of the team. And we've seen a couple of sneaky snakes pull something off, but they didn't lose their teammates this early on. So Crowned will be the only one to do that there for Top League Esports. We'll check back on in with him later. What an explosive fight here to start off Sanhok, like I wanted and expected.
Yeah, and as you mentioned in that final between Cross and Crowned, it really was Cross's job to keep Crowned distracted, to allow the rest of HQA to get picked back up, to get the heals in. They don't know that Crowned had left and bailed though. So this could make their looting cycle, their rotational cycle, a little slower. Then it's already been slowed down enough with that engagement. I wouldn't be too worried though. They're not far from where the circle is. It's right on the edge, and oh, we have some more. We have some more fighting.
Oh, it's HZL, the longtime member here of this roster, able to pick up 1. And so Moonlight just can't catch a break here. They had good position in map number 2 to try and pick up a ton of points. This one, you got the whole island to drop on, and you drop next to one of the most explosive teams in the Americas region. That's unlucky.
Jill wants to go for more. Moonlight really trying to pick themselves back up from a pretty unfortunate game 2. I don't know, did I curse Moonlight? I did say that they're like, oh yeah, they're right on track to be in that super consistent playstyle, and then they just tanked map 2. So sure, if you want to blame me for that, by all means go ahead, but this is still not a great start for the 3rd map here. They need to remove HCL. They could also just try and rotate around him. But the question is, like, where are they moving into? Where's the rest of Nova? That's a member that we just spotted on our screen for a split second.
Yeah, Nova is whoa! Okay, all right.
We're good.
Hey, I said I'd give you a ride, but you're squeezing a little tight on my belly. Gamma and the rest of Cool2 BGBG, they're rotating around. Oh, there's a trade back. So Kindness did get traded down. Faker will finish him off, and so Kindness might be able to get picked up here. Faker's going to do some scouting to see where the rest of Nova is, and they are en route. Of course they are, because they choose violence. Oh, but Faker chooses violence against G-Fan, and G-Fan might get taken down first yet again, or like early yet again. Very low is Rin. The nade coming through. Oh, no! How did that happen? Rin was able to cook his first.
That's still 2 confirmed for Nova. Neither of these teams are getting out of this in a healthy position at all. But Nova are, without a doubt, going to be the victors of this fight. And they could easily just confirm the wipe of the entirety of Moonlight. Yang, the only member left. His teammates bleeding out in front of him. Rin letting it happen, almost like he's a cruel feline, batting at a dying squirrel. And now it's just Yang. How is he going to get out of this situation? Does he go for the fight? Does he try and rotate away? Does Nova allow him to make up his own mind before they send it into his position like they just sent it here?
No idea here. Skies was able to pick that one up. Faker's still alive, so giving a little bit of information. You can see Yang in the third-person view, getting a lean on, picking up information as he can. Meanwhile, somewhere across the map, another fight was breaking out. I think it was Blackwater. It was Caesar getting a knock earlier, so we'll be hopping into that fight in just a bit against Hero Team Valoris. So, you know, I wanted more action, but this is great. I didn't expect it to be right up the top. Oh, and Skies gets taken down by Yang. No one is getting out free here. You called it, Cameron.
So Rin is in a position, or rather Skies, he dropped in a position to get revived, I think. No, he's actually behind the rock. I thought he was behind the hill. No, he's behind the rock. The smoke needed to come out. This gives an opportunity for Yang to get the spray down onto Rin, and he's going to immediately relocate his position so he's not pre-fired. But this... Ooh, he's only making matters worse for Nova. And why not, right? The last member up. Why not get revenge and go for the full squad wipe? That's probably the best chance of getting points that Yang is going to have.
Oh, Yang. Can you see him? Yeah, they're over the hill now. They're over the hill. Skies will get picked on up. It was a good smoke, a good crawl over by Yang. There it is. And I'm sure those bullets all missed. Nothing happened. And now we'll take a look at Bizzles, who has the dinosaur. Go back to Bizzles. Bizzles has the dinosaur on his butt. It's a shark. Oh, it's the little Godzilla. Yeah,
it's Godzilla. What do you mean how dare you?
What do you mean? No, I got it.
Look at he's so cute. Look at him. How can you confuse him for anything? I love that. I love him. A lot of people have just been surrounding out the center strip between Paradise Resort and Boot Camp. Like, a lot of teams are in that stretch. That's wild, actually.
The initial teams that were there inside the zone, it was Beattown and Kultu. Kultu surrounded that area. Oh, is this happening? Oh, it's a Paradise Resort takeover. It's Nameless against Sleeping Forest.
And they want to push Sleeping Forest out, but Bizzle here is in a really rough position. Can't run away without risk of getting spotted. And so now he's just playing in a rat position, trying to get a sneaky kill or two, feeding out information to his teammates as well. I like this lineup that Allen's going to be rolling with, proning down on the top. No cover for him, so if he's spotted, he's going to be in a really rough position. But he is in a prime spot to have the first strike.
Yeah, he was able to get Dixie. And so Nameless are like, yeah, that was not the best play. So Nameless back on out, and Sleeping Forest fight for control of Paradise Resort and win this zone. Not too punishing for anybody, except helping quit addiction. They can't catch a break. Chemical Cloud will have to rotate themselves on in. Game Changers, they were still rotating in no matter what. And the standoff between Yang and the Nova boys still happening down in Tambang in the southwest.
I'm curious now, because I wouldn't clarify, I wouldn't declare this circle a hard shift, but it is still just enough to the west that there is a possibility of an island that is not the main island to be the ending position. And either way, the water is still taking up a lot of land. And if you're going to be a team that ignores those islands to the west, unless you're one of the few teams that hasn't crossed over, like a Nova or a Moonlight, you're only looking at about 50% of Circle 2 as being playable land. So this could mean, once again, a lot of earlier fights. You already have a couple of teams like Cold2 and BT staring at each other down, essentially.
Yeah, this zone, it's a lot of like menacing barking. We get to hear a lot of barking. We don't know if their bark is worse than their bite yet, but it just didn't force so many teams to do anything. And Helping Quit Addiction is going to have a free entry on in is, oh no, Nameless. They
Compound
go
take
from one
part two.
bad fight to another. They're like, yeah, Paradise Resort, no vacancy. How about this Airbnb? Thank you very much. The Skur gets taken down, so Mazexis drop one player here as Nameless just goon squad their way on in. But nades might be popping on by as Revenge and the boys trying to do exactly that against Nameless. Oh, it's close. Daniel was a little hurt, was able to heal himself on up though.
I don't know how long Mazexis has been here, though, but the fact that they just let a team come in and take a essentially 3 versus 1 of a lone player hiding in a closet reads to me as either sloppiness or Mazexis just got here and haven't really been able to set up a nice like defensive perimeter around them. But now in the 3v3, Rage finds an opportunity, gets a single. Can he go for a double or a triple?
Silencers on it, has a little bit of confusion there where the angle could be. If you're Nameless, oh, peeks around the corner. He knows there's only a couple more spots to clear. There's the body. Will he be able to finish him? No! Rage gets taken down. It's Daniels from the distance able to pick that one up. And Mazexis don't get this one out too cleanly. Rage is down. All the while, again, this is what happens. This is why I love this map. Someone starts shooting and you just start shooting from distance and it's Alan third-partying in.
They already pushed Nameless away from Paradise Resort. They want to chase this team down and to pick up the scraps of whatever engagement they hear. And again, as you mentioned, that's the Sanhok special, right? You hear shots and you push.
I love it. No hesitation. Let's see. All right, Circle coming on in very soon. Teams have still made it on through. Yang still alive. Is still just trucking on in. It hasn't been great for him. And in the meantime, just passing on information. 15 teams left. Looks like your boy Crown got taken down. He was found, and is the last member of Top League Esports.
Our solo Yang is still up and running though. He's gonna now take the carry the torch for the solo players on Sanhok. See how far he can go. Circle shift. This is a hard shift down towards the south, and this one does 99% guarantee the ending. I would say 100% actually guarantee the ending on the main island, probably around Painan or most likely to the east between there and a boot camp. A fair bit of open area. The teams that aren't already inside.
That's what I was going to say. I mean, it can pick yet another non-building field kills kind of ending as it has for the first 2 games so far in this pretty brutal ladder 2 open finals.
And this whole stare down between BT and Cold2, nothing's happened. Because nothing has had to happen so far. They're just looking at each other. But the question is to Cold2, do they want to stay here now? Because these warehouses are just now on the edge of phase 3. There's an argument for them trying to push it, but finds the angle, they get into the car! Oh! For a second! Took just too long to ready that angle. And BT, they know that they just barely survived that. That could have been disastrous.
Yeah, Jero Boy not able to land those shots. So BT, who've gotten 1 chicken dinner already, slide on by for a little bit longer. And you can see Cold2 hold this spot. They did lose the 1 member to Nameless because they were trying to hold too many positions. And now have to figure out, all right, do we push into boot camp or do we hold here knowing that it's probably going to move away from the spot?
They're pushing out now. Yeah, they're pushing through. They saw that with that rotation by BT in the vehicle, that there's now a gap. There is now a guaranteed hole here on the western side, and they're going to try and push through this area. Not taking vehicles with them. Vehicles have significantly diminished value on Sanhok, especially this deep into the game, and they're just going to leapfrog from building, from compound to compound within boot camp. The question is, are they going to push much further south beyond that?
Yeah, I think the hold for now is BT. They decide to get themselves out of Dodge. We had a couple of on the kill feed. It looked like it was... What was that? Was that Sleeping Forest? I think Sleeping Forest is now down a member. Either way, it was a knock by one of the Pro Era guys, and now Aches able to find one there. And so Aches taking down another Heroes Team Valoris member. So Aches TV, they did well in that last map, now starting to get pummeled. Oh, and it's Alan catching out Aches. And so Alan popped it up at the right time.
Sleeping Forest are everywhere. Everywhere that other teams don't want them to be. They only have 2 kills right now, but they are constantly putting themselves into position just to collect more and more and more. If they keep playing like this and keep playing it well, they could be racking up a fair number of kills by the end of things. But at the moment, their activity has basically forced CC to just try and stay here in the blue and try and remove HTV, but that's a nice grenade. Do at least a little bit of initial chip damage, and there's the full knock.
Yeah, big knock there. It looked like Gunza had a good line onto the rest of the Heroes Team Valoris guys, but they sniffed it out. The nade came down, popped him in the face, and now Chemical Cloud yet again caught in a fight on the fringes early on in the game. They just have not been able to get themselves inside and lucky, kind of like HQA, a big Xue are inside the zone now. You can see them on the mini map, and you know, Sleeping Forest, they've done the work in terms of positioning. When they got pushed earlier over in Resort, they spread out. They stopped the push and got themselves a kill. Oh, big nade, and it's a very strong tree keeping all of Heroes Team Valoris alive there. And yeah, just lots of damage coming down by Sleeping Forest. Another knock coming from distance. Who is that? It's HTV, able to pick one off, and that's a finish there, I believe. Is that a finish? No, they're still on up. Another team has gone down, though. I'm trying to see who it is.
Avery's been taking a lot of damage, but Myth has been taking more. It's now Avery left in a, well, 2 versus 1 with his teammate. Not in the blue, but Avery still is, of course. But the teammate, of course, is trying to run ahead, stay out of the damage, stay out of the blue zone. It's all into Avery right now to collect these last few points. Viglas here is just trying to get inside the safe zone, but he's finding an angle, but getting shot in the back at the same time. Again, this pressure from Sleeping Forest.
There he is.
Even if Sleeping Forest... There it is. Chemical Cloud able to get the kills. 4 kills right now, but in a really rough position themselves. Even if Sleeping Forest didn't get any of the kill points themselves, their pressure has forced these teams to fight, and that's only going to make it easier for Sleeping Forest in turn to climb higher and higher placements.
Yeah, well, Qin got knocked there, but was able to get picked up by one of the teammates that was able to swing by right on time. And now Sleeping Forest, they did their gatekeeping. They're done doing that. They've got to work themselves into the zone as well. No buildings in front of them, so they're just kind of driving along the edge. They're going to run into Blackwater. Still not inside the zone this spot either. Maybe looking to gatekeep one more. There is Hugo Zin for Blackwater coming on in. And Helping Quit Addiction is stuck yet again. They might be your 13th team out. It's just June, baby, because they got camped by Blackwater and by Game Changers. So tough stuff there by Helping Quit Addiction. Shots from distance. Bizzle's using the power of Godzilla. Able to land that one, but he does get shot through the smoke. Nice answer back there by Cypher. And so the gatekeepers are now becoming gate-kept as Sleeping Forest getting shot down there by Godplay, but they are inside the zone. They will survive. Blackwater is your next team out at 13th place, though.
It's Godplay here. They're now the next in line to hold down that line of scrimmage of the teams coming in from the east side, trying to make their way into the circle. And as you mentioned, there aren't many solid positions of holding. There's this hilltop that Sleeping Forest found, but that's no longer in the next circle. There's maybe 2 compounds that are already filled. So which now Sleeping Forest need to focus on getting the points on the extremities while they can.
Yeah, look at this zone. All right, 24Z, thanks for holding boot camp, but you need to go. Your rent is over, and look at this. Sailing Pro inside in the middle of the zone. They have the compound. Small little bit of compound there for Skies and for Rin on Nova. As shots just raining down. Cypher's like, yeah, I love this position. Shooting up at Sleeping Forest. You can't confuse the forest with the tree. Oh, Cypher almost missed the shots right in front of him. But he will survive. Sleeping Forest getting taken down. Dios, I think, is the last one left alive for Sleeping Forest, and he's on heal duty. BT clearing out the northern part, as you can see. Issa Jat working his way on, and Sleeping Forest is Bizzle. Gets finished off there, and so Issa Jack gonna pretend it's Issa Bush. Surprise, it's me, Jet. He shoots down, misses his shots, but gives away his position. Edwin in the only full complex still left in the zone, now holding him off. Circle has popped for the next zone. This building no longer in it, but I don't think Sailing Pro cares because it's such a great spot right now.
It is, but they're going to want to milk it for all that they can because remember, they have 1 placement point, 0 kill points from the previous 2 matches. They need to start that climb now if they want to end this final in the same position that they ended it. The ladder climb. Hail of bullets coming out from BT. On to God play. BT still need to push in the circle. Colchis needs to push in from behind them. And the only team that has a solid position in this circle is a GC, and I don't even know how strong that position is. I don't even know what the terrain is around that area, if it's good enough to hold. But at least they're trying. That's God play out.
God play. Yeah. Poor Suzuki, man. Finds a rock and a blown-up car. Not much he could do there. They get taken down. And BT, they've got the high ground, but right next to him, sneaky Mazexis player. I think that's 24Z, or it's Coltu. It's Coltu. Oh, sorry. It's Mazexis, Coltu, and BT. They all look like the same color to me. 3 teams here in the same spot fighting each other for the high ground because no one wants to be inside the zone right now. It's wide open. And HQA's June Baby has been able to heal himself on up. The heal off still working. 24Z able to pick one off there from Sailing Pro. He doesn't have any more meds and he gets shot in the back. It's Game Changers Coldy finishing off one of the members there. Oh no, it's not Walls finishing off 24Z. BT getting finished off there by Coldy. Coldy loses the fight, but he's still inside the zone. Multiple members are not. It's a Jet trying to get a heal, and he's not. BT go out in 4th place. What a hectic run there. And HQA's June Baby trying to work his way on in. He dies to GC as well, so Game Changers finding themselves in great position up against Sailing Pro. All the while, Nova's Rin is still healing on in, and he healed his way from like 9th place all the way to 3rd, and I think that's where he's gonna stay.
Wait, is he out in the blue?
Yeah, he's
yes, he is. Deep in the blue. Still has 5 first aid kits. But he's going to want to hope that these teams start fighting in the matter of seconds if he wants to get higher than 3rd place. But still a 3rd place finish for him. Very solid play, but here it is. It's Bug pushing forward. GC want control. They want this fight, and that's a good starting knock. 4 versus 2 now.
Yeah, Sailing Pro only 1 kill, even though they had the greatest compound in this zone. We're not being very proactive in it. And now Meyer trying to pick up his teammate, gets shot in the back by Rin! Oh, surprise! And Rin moves all the way up to 2nd place! Wow, by the Nova man! He ruins the party for Sailing Pro, but gifts over a kill and the chicken dinner to Game Changers.
He still was able to get 2nd place. And that's partly because, like I said, Game Changers, they pushed that fight super fast. If we saw another one of those sort of slow standoff finishes that we've seen in so many other games, not just today, but also just historically in PUBG Mobile, then that would have been a solid 3rd place finish for Nova. Because the fight happened so quickly, it's just the way that the cards fell, the way that the dominoes also fell. I tried to think of a different verb. It didn't come to me. They all fall.
Yeah, they all fall, and Game Changers lands on top there with the chicken dinner, and it feels like it came out of nowhere. They got the position that they wanted, and they went systematically team after team after team there in Zone 7 and Zone number 8. But how about that finish there by Nova, expected by a team of their caliber? But remember, they lost 2 players. They were the first team to lose members. It was a hectic start there, but a great solo play by Rin to get them all the way from what could have been 15th or 16th up to 2nd place at the expense of poor Sailing Pro. They sat on their laurels and they weren't quite able to find the victory. That was a lot of action on my favorite map in Sanhok, and I'll bring back our boy Paul so we can break down all of the action after we take a short break. You're watching the ESL Mobile Open Ladder 2 Finals.
All I ever do is think about you, is think about you. All I ever do is think about you, is think about
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the ESL Mobile Open Finals. I'm Inverum, joined by Degon and Cameron Davis. Game number 3 done and dusted in the books. And Degon, that was about what we expected, I would say, for that map.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we wanted, though. I mean, I feel like the first couple maps, people were letting the zone dictate if they were fighting or not so early on. Again, in the first couple of zones, if you have the intel that another team is there, you can come on in, then park it early and get a couple of kills. And that happened straight off the jump, as we're going to see from our analysis video.
Yeah, listen, I'll be blunt, I'll be honest. Analyzing Sanhok is incredibly difficult because of just how combat fight oriented it is, but here was even more chaotic than you would expect beginning. Motorama almost did the 3-piece, unfortunately had to reload, and that was the opportunity that HQA needed to really stabilize things and able to come out of that as the full 4. Then of course immediately flipping over to the west side of the map, and the action happening over there between Nova and Moonlight. And again, Nova from that debacle, from Yang almost ruining Nova's continual run, Rin was able to snake into second place.
Yeah, if you're Scurry there, that was pretty scurry. Because you're just holding, you hear all the footsteps, and 1, 2, 3 people run on in, and then Rage losing that one for Mezexis, I think made it a little tough, as Mezexis was able to clean up afterwards, but just didn't have to lose a body there. And then this is the one that you called out. Jeraboy, we've seen him hit those shots before. The Cold 2 BGBG man not quite able to. And then Aches, he gets the jump on someone, gets a little too aggressive, and then gets beamed down by Bizzle, and then Bizzle started gatekeeping everybody. I felt like Sleeping Forest just covered the most ground, but unfortunately didn't get the most points in this one.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the way the cookie crumbles on Sanhok, right? But I do like their playstyle of just putting pressure, and even if you're not in a fight yourself, your whole goal is to make sure that as many teams stay as uncomfortable as possible. But then once it went into this area that all fed into like a low ground, no cover sort of area, it's not too much of a surprise, despite how unfortunate it is that all that work they did through the early game didn't amount to many points themselves.
Yeah, and then here on the edges, once we started hitting Zone 6 into Zone 7, this is when it got the most hectic. God play, low ground, stuck on a rock. That was pretty tough. Look at that. Game Changers' bug did do a peek there. Realized, oh, we got a friend that's helping us out. Don't mind if we do. Take a chicken dinner and pop on into 4th place on the leaderboard, Paul.
I mean, solid play there from them, but we also have to talk about Nova. Not a chicken dinner yet, but still in second place. Rin out in the blue, able to continue to do work and work just a little bit more. Now, as we're at the halfway point, we have to start looking towards the top of the leaderboard here. And the one thing that's really jumping out at me, even as we take a look at page number 2, is how evenly distributed. Only 20 points separating 1st and 8th on that 1st place team. And I would even include Mezexis in that, in 9th. Within striking distance, that's where it starts to fall off a little bit. So if you're one of these teams down here near the bottom that we have some higher expectations for them, looking at you, Moonlight, HQA, Pro Era, and Sailing Pro coming in as the number 1, you need to step up just a little bit more, because Cam, we're getting to the point now where if you don't do it, it's not happening. Game Changers, looking at them too, but they proved with one chicken dinner you can move way up.
Yeah, a little bit more. Those teams need to step up a bit more, but that's what Game Changers did throughout all the chaos of the previous game. They were able to stabilize control at the end game, and that's really all that matters. We saw it in the opening match on Erangel for BT, is that control in the early game is only so useful if you can pivot it to control in the late game. The Game Changers, they ended with control in the late game, and they pushed their advantage heavily, able to come up with a win.
Yeah, but we got to talk about Nova Esports, the favorites coming into this. You know, they're known on the Americas stage. They're known in the regional stage here in the West, all of the West. And G-Fan has proven why. However, when he has got knocked early, other teammates have been able to carry. Rin, again, just clawing the team back. And sometimes you ask, like, hey, why do teams always send that one in back? You know, he has all the first aids and you know, they just heal on up. It just feels like a defeat. That's exactly why. He was in the zone when there were 9 teams left, climbs all the way up to second place.
I mean, the thing to remember about Nova is the sheer breadth of competitive experience that this team has. They have played at a ton of levels of competition. This last PMPL, they looked absolutely dominant for portions of it, ended up having a really good overall performance. And I think to keep in mind here is what's really interesting is, again, they are in second place right now. They are showing up in a big way, but they don't have chicken dinner yet. And what's really cool about that is it shows to me that the level of competition here in North America has just continued to get better and better and better. These are squads playing against them that haven't participated in a PMPL, in a PMWL, haven't gone to the World League. And the fact that they're able to at least somewhat, at least over the span of 3 games, go even with Nova. Again, it's a small sample size, Degon. I see you smiling. But it still says a decent amount about, hey, we got some pretty good teams here in NA.
I am more, as a contrast to that point, I think there's some value there. But when we see a number of teams that are able to perform good in a single game where they find themselves with an advantage, but it's Nova that tends to perform better throughout multiple games in a row, even without getting that advantage needed to have the full-on win. I want to see repeat performances by a bunch of different teams. I think B-Town are definitely up there in conversation, but Game Changers, as the most immediate example, nice finish there, but we want to see a repeat of that in these final 2 maps.
Absolutely. And I think the big thing to remember, of course, is that this is only 5 games. That's it. That's all you get. This isn't some sort of long, drawn-out system. The league, that's how we got ourselves here. So it really comes down to these teams stepping up now. Back is against the wall. It's go big or go home. As we get into game number 4, we're going to head to a short break. When we come back, more action here for the ESL Mobile Open Finals.
maps remain before we hit the final podium finish here in ESL Mobile Open North America. Ladder 2 finals. Back on Erangel. A lot better of a playing path from the first time around. So here we'll see. Are we going to get the same number of players dropping on Sosnovka? Maybe, because it is starting here.
Yeah, this is a straight north path. Again, this path's so good. Like last time the path was so bad we couldn't see where it's going. This one's so good we don't even need to see where it's going. Everyone gets a drop wherever they want. Again, last time that we had this, we had 3 teams drop military base, I think. It was 3, and then it hard shifted north for all of them. I think it was Cool 2, Mazexis, and will it be Sailing Pro? Maybe it is Sailing Pro that will be the ones dropping there early on as Mazexis. Or no, it's not Mazexis, it's Moonlight. Moonlight will drop on in. They've already touched ground and found a vehicle. They're good to go and will not even have to worry about anyone else coming on in. Any other hot drops will happen. We got you covered. Come on, Zone. Where are we going? Where are we playing? Are we a northern team? Are we a southern team? Oh, playing, doing an electric slide.
Ooh!
Oh, it's a southern circle. Okay.
Yeah,
this is fun.
It's a split circle. It's a 50-50. Nobody knows which one it's going to swing to. That strait of water in between the 2 islands is basically cutting through the center of the circle like a Pokeball. And so it'll be, here's the interesting thing about this, because the teams that are on military, no reason to leave for in Circle 1 right now. Position yourself around the bridge in case, or maybe find a boat and be on the coast in case it does shift north, but you don't need to leave right now. But for every other team, the 13 other teams that are on the mainland, do they all decide to share what is left of that northern little stretch of Phase 1 amongst themselves? Or are we going to see maybe 2, maybe 3 teams cross over ahead of time because they would expect that there is more area to hold in the early game?
That's the big question. I mean, gosh, I really just hope that someone fights here in Zone 1. That is selfishly what I want. Helping quit addiction right next to Pro Era. Pro Era, they haven't had many opportunities to show off what they could do. Twinkles, we've had him participate. Joey, we've had both of them participate in many mobile opens in the past. Come on, pull the trigger. Find yourself a fight here as Helping Quit Addiction. Also struggling in a way that we did not expect. Take advantage of that and see if you can get a hop on them over by School. Right now, following along with Top League Esports, another team that just hasn't been able to get their day off the ground. They're sharing Yasnaya with Game Changers, who got their game off the ground in the best way possible. Chicken dinner in that last game. I don't think they'll fight because Game Changers won it based off of late game aggression, late game proactivity, not necessarily like picking fights early and trying to bully.
Yeah, and again, it's always a question of what are we fighting over? Because a fight needs to be more than just the points that you get. Your team needs to have an actual goal in mind. And so if there's an opportunity for Game Changers to either get a shots on a rotating team or vice versa, then we're going to be seeing that. But we are going to be hard-pressed to find either of these 2 teams in Yasnaya full send, full 4-on-4 engagement in the early game, because this is not in the circle. Both teams are going to be so hyper-focused on the fact that this opening circle is a split 50-50 between both islands, that this is honestly so low on the list of issues that they're going to have. They have bigger fish to fry.
For sure. I mean, Coldy's still looking for a bigger backpack right now. That's like slick backpack skin, man. Can you imagine having a backpack like that? Just like a leather bag with some like gold lining there. That's cool.
I mean,
you have
it
one.
does show. It does. No, I do not. And it shows the demographics of the player base.
I was about to say, I felt like
that.
you were about to ego me real hard. I mean, yeah, I would want one if I didn't already have one.
No. I would want one if I was 16.
No.
Can I say that?
That's
Can I
slick,
say that?
dude. No. Moonlight and Nova. This is a big fight here for
no,
Moonlight.
yeah.
Oh, and it's the big flankerito. Rin popping up early. And so Faker forced it back on off. Yang is the only one there. Man, Moonlight is not that close. And Sky's able to pick down Flies. That's 2 members picked off here of Moonlight. It's not looking good for the Ladder 1 champions, as now 3 members are down. Jonas tries to hit his belly, but he hits it permanently. And Nova, just like lightning, just show up and destroy everything. That was amazing.
Nova, where did they come from? They didn't drop on Millie. Where did this fight, how was the setup to this? Is this on the west coast of Sosnovka?
It's on the west coast of Sosnovka.
So Nova, did they get here through a boat? Are they stealing Moonlight's vehicles? Or did they drive all the way across the bridge through potentially multiple teams and not get shot at all? And we're still healthy enough to get a setup into this engagement against Moonlight? Even ignoring or looking past the fact that the way that they approached the engagement with Moonlight was so powerful, just how they got there in the first place is really boggling my mind. It just shows the strength of Nova as such an experienced squad.
Dang, that was just clinical. It was a clinical finish, and it was a lot of fun to watch how quickly they pushed through that one. Now, Rulo in a bit of trouble there as he tries to get a pick onto a couple members of HTV. Angry Q, you can see why he's angry. He's on all fours. But the rest of HTV on an angle will be able to help out their fallen teammates. As now, not Walls and Colt, the rest of Colt 2, they're not close. They don't have a support angle, so Rulo and Juraboy forced to back on off. Gamma and Zukana are both in a similar position, though, so maybe there's something to be had here as Zukana is checking his angles, being like, hey, is someone watching the Watcher? Because I want to be the Watcher.
The saving grace here is that Cold 2 are watching the last 2 players of HGV swim over, but they already had 1 or 2 players across the river on a potential flank position. And that's where we saw the pressure come out to try and help defend their teammates that were on the beach itself, and which is why Cold 2 are now pulling away, because they realize that this engagement is a little more complicated than they otherwise would have expected. Both teams, they're just going to leave each other be, so this is not worth it. Let's just try and wait out this early game. But yeah, so these are a couple of the few teams, HTV, that decided to cross because of how little land there was on the north side of the water.
It's always fun because rarely do you have a circle that says, yep, 100% you're on the smaller island, whatever it is, right? You know, if it's here in Erangel or if it's over in Sanhok, you don't normally have one that is like that for the smaller side. And so you're always going to have this game of chicken in zone 1, zone 2. And it can prolong up to, what, zone 4, maybe, and then it hard shifts.
Oh, revenge.
That was sick. But I love this game of chicken that teams have to decide and base their whole strategy around, and the ones that send it early and pay off, those are the ones that you remember. As now, Mzexis, they're swarming like sharks in the water after they taste blood.
Really good approach as well with the vehicles. They don't just send it straight in. They do a little loop around to try and find where all the positioning is. Unfortunately, they do still get a little caught up with each other. There's kind of
Rage is the only one left up.
Member.
Caesar. Hugo's in is knocked. That's the one that's knocked. Tamal trying to find his way through. Whoa! Houdini slides on by, and the crash damage by Skur allows an easy pickup by Tamal, but Tamal can't get it done. Rage, he was the lone member, had time to heal on up, and was able to finish off Tamal. And I think that's our first team out. No, it is Blackwater still alive through Norzaboy. But man, what an explosive start here, and the chances for a win here by the team that won. Miramar, not quite it, and yeah, Cammy, that's another circle.
Yeah, that was a really good push by Mzexis, but we have to talk about this circle. It is still all up in the air. We got about, what is this, 4 teams potentially? Yeah, I think 5 teams on military. everyone else on the northern side. But with a shift like this, it really is just still a coin flip. And this could be a bridge ending. I dare to dream too much, but we could end on the bridge itself. The point is, there is no macro in this game anymore. It's just throw a dart onto the map where you want to hold, flip a coin if you need to, but you are going to have to be prepared to fight through a terrible rotation if your coin flip is incorrect.
Oh, the bridge battles. I do miss these. Is not Walls. He's the star player in our eyes here for the Mobile Open for Cool2 BGBG. Up against Chiwong. Chiwong deciding, yeah, I'm good. I don't want this. Backs off and we'll let not Walls, the rest of Cool2 control this bridge.
And Not Walls recognizes that. They're just covering their backside. There's always potential for a team rotating from Mill to Power. It is not an uncommon rotation from the boat from Mill to Power into Novo or this particular beach in between the bridge and Novo. And so just making sure that no one's going to be sneaking up behind them. They're right next to the circle, and they have vehicles to be able to play out whatever the phase 3 shift is. But what's happening over here? Rage gets knocked. What grenade was? Yeah. Was that a team grenade?
No,
it wasn't. They're chasing out. They're chasing down the last member.
Yeah, Norza boy tried his best, but wasn't quite able to do it. And Mazexis pick up all 4 kills that Blackwater had to offer.
Well, there it is. But again, so this is the team that could have potentially transitioned from Mill to Power over to Nova, but they tried to chase down the kill instead, which I don't think is a bad idea because, again, it's not even guaranteed on Military just yet. So right now they're just going to wait into the circle, probably move closer towards Milta itself. But it's the waiting game for the circle to close.
Yeah, pretty tough for Mazexis because we saw the hold on that side of the bridge. It's HQA waiting for any comers to come that way. And they're going to have to decide, too. HQA are going to wait in the blue, I think, to see, hey, do we need to cross or not? Is Cool2, they've given up the bridge as well.
Oh my God. Oh, this is gross.
It is still half. This has to be north, right? This is northern?
I mean, it's favored north. But I think it could go bridge. We also could see if the next circle, the center is like just on the northern part of the bridge, it could have another opportunity to shift down south. But no, this is heavily favored towards the north. So any of the teams that haven't already crossed over, or even a few that have crossed over, are going to be looking to make their way up that bridge. The problem is, I'm looking at Nova, I'm looking at Sailing Pro. They're on the south side of the bridge. They might just want to sit pretty and wait for everyone else to make their transitions first, see who dies, who doesn't, and play based off of that.
What a day for zones, man. Like, these zones are
right?
like, just forcing teams into overdrive in terms of decision making and where they want to decide to stake their claim to the finals here in Ladder 2. And I feel like it's maybe not the cleanest gameplay, but it's definitely rigorous, which is what we wanted to see here in the Mobile Open. Is now teams will be rotating themselves on in. Cool2 getting a little squirrely there, but they're following, who's that? Heroes Team Valoris.
Yeah.
And Heroes Team Valoris will be driving into Nova. It's going to be a festival in just a second. 3 teams on this southern part of the zone. They'll be running into each other very soon, as well as Nameless that could be joining as well. All kind of looking for places to camp out while they wait for the zone to decide. There it is, Cool2 being like, yeah, those are vehicles. We'll not do that. I don't think they know that Nova's nearby, so
they do
Nova
not
have the opportunity. Oh, Jared Boy so close. Oh, Jared Boy, he knows now. And
he's going to go down, but now how does the rest of Cold2 respond to this new information? And then how do Nameless react as well if they hear this? They can come in third party, and that's what they're doing. In fact, Skies goes down.
Nice shots there by Dixie from distance there. We haven't seen a lot from Nameless yet, but they're finally showing up. The gun's waking up. Here's G-Fan. Trying to figure out what the play is. Smokes go down to get the revive, so Skies is up. Rin on revive duty. And while they were doing that, no one decided to push, knowing that it could be a festival. And now we've got some vehicular battling going on. Gamma taking some shots. Was he able to land it? I don't think so. Ooh, Rulo almost crashed. And now he's running into Game Changers.
How are there so many teams on the southern side of this circle?
Oh
no, show the map. Please show the map.
For.
Please show the map. I love where this circle went.
Yeah,
yes,
the map is coming up.
People are shooting each other. There it is.
You know where
nameless
it is.
Nameless are completely deleted. Congratulations, Noah. Please show the map. Yes! Yes! Oh my god, it's so dumb. There's more water than land in this circle. Good luck, teams.
Cameron Davis, chaotic good, maybe? He's loving this one. As Divine has gone down for Game Changers. Game Changers now down another man. Cool2 just sending it on through and not walls. Will not have a chance for a hero play here. And so it's all up to Gamma, I believe. Gamma, the last member alive here for Cool2. And he's already in the water. He's just like, yeah, I know what this game is. It's pop my head up, get some oxygen, go back down.
Yep.
It's Gamma and Rulo.
We're gonna see a couple of dolphins here, but no,
this is Sleeping
fight.
Forest. Yeah, Sleeping Forest and Pro Era going back and forth here, as it's been one knock for one knock. I only think it's Qin that's nearby here for Sleeping Forest, so there's not backup coming here. Sleeping Forest have to figure this one out. Qin takes a peek, realizes there's a lot of people in this store. He gets knocked. Is he dead? Oh. He's on his belly. I'm just kidding. He's on his belly. He's not knocked. Goes behind the wall, and here comes the bullies. Joey, give me my lunch money. That's right, and I'll take all of your utility as well.
We're about to lose a few more teams after this because, again, how little land there actually is to share amongst all these teams. Really strong by Era to stay alive with all four. And they're in the circle in their position, but they're going to be hearing fights just to the south of them that they could decide to try and third party. But over here, it's the third, fourth, fifth party. Nova trying to approach the bridge that SLP have been hanging on to for quite a while. And they're getting the opening knocks, the opening frags, the opening finishes as Rin gets confirmed.
Yeah, Pandy showing up here, Sailing Pro. Remember, they got third place. They had second place in their hands, and it was Nova the ones that took it away from them, Rin specifically. They've got a nice spot here on the bridge, inside the zone as well, as it looks like G-Fan gets finished off by Angry. So again, G-Fan, one of the first to drop there by for Nova. And you got a lot of people now just playing, swimming underneath. You could see a couple of people's Game Changers and Nova like, yeah, we're swimming. Skies also has a vehicle, just drove it into the water. He's like, yep. We're just going to see where this goes and try to outswim you, outposition you as Sleeping Pro. Fantastic positioning for them right now. They're going to try to gatekeep out Heroes Team Valoris. And this is going to be such a tough approach here for HTV. Here it is, congregating. Let's get in the middle, y'all. Adult swim time.
HTV suddenly in an incredibly weak position. I'll say it. I feel like they were they were incredibly lax with the previous couple of shifts from that position. There's no way to think that they would come back to them. And so the fact that they're just now still hanging out in the compound, not worried about the bridge and crossing at all, to me reads as either fear or indecision or just laziness. But no, the circle is going to shift all the way towards the north. This was basically what was expected from the previous phase. But all these players that have already committed to the water, they now have a tricky situation because there's not much water left to play inside. Obviously, once you go to the beach, you're going to start to get back on land. You can get shot, and that's exactly what BT are trying to do right now.
Yeah, BT, they're gatekeeping now as the zone. Oh, we're going to have a big swim. It's a big swim across. That's a massive migration, and BT are the first to land. They do have the lighthouse that is slightly outside the zone. They have the compound next to the bridge, which is nice. The gas station also outside the zone, so HQA will be forced to move around. Pro Era still holding the western part as Kana trying to take the jet ski, and Pandy can't land these shots. There's bullet drop, my friend. Zukana's gonna make it. He's doing it. He's going to the 10.
How long?
To the 5.
How long? Oh my God. Oh no, more people are arriving.
Oh no, Zucana is being greeted by Godplay. As Godplay come on in, and they're trying to capitalize on it. I believe they did finish him off. Pro Era get a lot of damage down as well. Chemical Cloud holding that spot. So Chemical Cloud now staking their claim to a lot of the space there at the southwest. Look at this. It's just chaotic all over the place. Helping Quit Addiction and Pro Era going back and forth now in the north.
I want to talk real quick about BT's position because they are the only team that have any semblance of control in this circle. Everyone else is either under the bridge, on the bridge, or towards the north on the edge. And I usually criticize BT for being this spread out this late into the game, having one player on a lighthouse, but no one's going to crash that solo player. Krish is basically completely safe, and his big value of being that overwatch position for the rest of his team on the building just past the bridge is not going to be contested at all. So he's going to be adding potentially a lot of value to BT's position, and we could be seeing our first 2-time chicken dinner of the night.
Hey, Chris just chilling. If we could, can we get a camera on Gamma over there for Cool 2? Because I love what he's doing right now in terms of just popping up and down. You can see him on the screen right there. And he's got to look out for Quan. They're basically playing a game of chicken against each other right now. Who's going to hop in and out of the water at the right time? Zone moving on in. Where are we going? And it's squarely on land. This is BT's game to win. Or lose. There's Gamma. You see, he's just playing this game of chicken with Quan. It's so great. And behind him, he was doing the same thing with HQA, or yeah, there it is. Oh, it was Pandy, the one picking him off. He was doing that for about like two whole minutes there. Right below him was the Nova boys. They're gonna blow this vehicle on up, and so Sailing Pro have their work cut out for them. If there's a team that can battle their way directly through BT, it's them. Nice shots from Sirio. And again, this Sailing Pro team that was ranked the highest coming on into it, starting to come alive. Top league esports just getting pinned down. Fish, Barrel, Krish, that's what this is. And BT just picking up points hand over fist. HLZ and Skies trying to work their way on into the zone. Krish gonna bring the motorcycle with him. Needs to be careful. Yeah, no threats here. HQA not looking as they've got smokes. And so, nice little entryway and more vehicle coverage for BT. Sirio still just trying to land the shots on the Avery, and it's just hectic on that western side. Oof.
Yeah, BT, they're just putting pressure in every single direction. Not even just Krish, who had to leave the lighthouse because of the blue, but he gave so much value to his team, as expected. Now they have the only cover in the circle. It's not even just that. Even the teams that would want to approach them are surrounded by other contenders. They're going to have to deal with each other first. So BT, they have an ivory tower overlooking everyone else.
And he's like, not now. Please stop yelling at me. Oh, shots from distance. Lands. Chemical Cloud out. Now in 6th place. Godplay, still the Kings of the West, are surviving and still on in. HQA are survived by June Baby one more time. June Baby, the last one left alive. And then you got the bridge and the mid. And who's our, oh, and Kid KO still alive. Looks like Nova also knocked out in this last little bit of skirmish. So Kid KO for top league esports will continue to hide under the bridge and try to find a way on up when it looks appropriate. Circle about to pop. You can see it on the mini map right there. Where are we going? Oh, nice nade onto June Baby. Krish and this BT roster have just been on point with these grenades. It's a 5th place finish for Helping Quit Addiction. And now just 4 teams left. 5 kills here for BT. I thought it would be a lot more than that.
Again, the pressure, though, has allowed them to climb this high relatively safe. They still have 4 up, and they've cleaned out the top part of the circle for this shift is really important because now they can just group down onto Issa's tower compound and basically be able to overlook everyone else. Sure, this might be another case of the compound curse where not many kills are going to come directly towards you, but they're going to be securing a above reasonable chance to get the actual full win.
Suzuki, last one alive here for Godplay. Edwin getting dinked a bit there by BT. 7 kills for Sailing Pro. They're still just trying to bump their way on up, and they were in striking distance of the rest of the squads. I think Paul hit on it when we saw the scoreboard. It was only about 20 to 25 there as Godplay gets taken out. Nice play there by Isajat and Drake to do a double peek onto the veteran Suzuki. He gets taken out, and Godplay take 4th place. Top league, they'll take whatever points that they can get. I don't think they're necessarily in the running, but this would be huge for Sailing Pro. And BT, this might put it out of reach to everyone else except Nova. As Kid KO gets taken out, Sirio making sure this is going to be a 2-team tango. It's Sailing Pro, and it's B-Town Esports.
The fact that Sailing Pro were able to stay alive with 8 kills of their own after all of that on the bridge is a really good feat. But again, oh my god.
Okay.
What?
Replay's gonna help us with that one.
I guess that's it. That's game. In the blink of an eye, something happened, and BT come out on top. I expected a little bit of like a fight back, but no, just they outpositioned everyone else. They used that nice compound of their own to strangle control from everyone else in the circle. Didn't give them a chance. Didn't give them an opportunity, and that's the second win of the day for them.
Yeah, and we've seen BT not be afraid of wrapping around like that, not be afraid of using their numbers advantage to get even more angles to possibly kill from. They knew that, hey, they had to go somewhere. They had to drop down. So, and we saw earlier that they weren't afraid to push Suzuki with, I think it was Isajat and Drake. They did it again. They had Krish holding the person on the bridge. That leaves your 4th member to flank onto Krish, and it looked very, very clean there by B-Town Esports. They were near the top of the leaderboard coming on into today, and they find themselves with another chicken dinner and assuredly #1 with 1 map left to go. We'll break down that last map and set the table for the final map of the day after this short break. You're watching the ESL Mobile Open Season 1 Ladder 2 Finals.
I go ready for it. ready for it. I go ready for it.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the ESL Mobile Open Finals. I'm Vera. I'm joined by D-Gun and Cameron Davis. And the circles these days, the circles today specifically, just keep on delivering. Oh, my goodness. Cam's giggling. He's smiling. He's laughing, and for good reason, because
I love it.
they have been a great test of our players today, which means that no matter who walks away the victor, they've shown that they can deal with adversity. Cam, today has been wild.
Yeah, it really has. There haven't really been any games that you could say a single team got fed from start to finish. The circle shifts will always, by definition, it is a part of the game. Every circle shift will inevitably favor one team over another. But it's not like we've seen a team that's just like been able to bunker down, hasn't had to move at all. Every single time that a team has had the center position, they end up within the late game. They have had to use their power to keep other teams out, and that's a lot easier said than done.
I agree. It's definitely a little better to put into practice. And D-Gun, especially as we take a look back over the course of that match. Yeah, the circles. We're just going to keep coming back to it. It did facilitate, though, for some pretty good early game action.
Yeah, early on, the previous champs, the reigning champs, get knocked out early by the Nova boys, and it was a thing of beauty. Like, there's not a lot of times where teams are decisive. They come, they clean things up, they immediately hit them with the flank, and that was a great thing to watch from a top tier team that, using this tournament to tune on up and prep for leagues in the future. And then this was funny. The chase there. Blackwater, they found themselves a victory before, but this case it ran into Mexexis and then chased him down. Norsa Boy had no chance here. It's a nice little 1v1, and Norsa Boy did not come out on top on this one. And this was interesting. We did not follow along Sleeping Force that much in this match, and so all of a sudden we see, there's only 2 members left, and they ran into Pro Era, and Pro Era knew what to do. Able to pick up the kills, didn't lose anybody in that engagement. And then the mass exodus, everyone going north. Go north, young man. As Pandy and the rest of Sailing Pro were like, yeah, we got it. We know what to do from here.
Yeah, I think if you are a new player or a new squad, I would go back and watch this game because there was a lot of chaos in the late game. Sailing Pro were able to sort of thrive in the chaos as well as BT. But go look at the early game, the fights that we saw, that the pushes by Nova, the pushes by Mexexis, are both really key examples of when you would take an opportunity in the early game to get an entire squad wipe and how you executed on it properly to have the lowest chance of you getting harmed in return. But here are the final moments, of course. Karish with a very good grenade to clear out their north and then put their focus down on the south, wipe the rest of God play, and then the final standoff between them and, well, the sort of the fly, the gnat that's been in their side the entire time on the bridge of Sailing Pro. I mean, it gets ended in what feels like 2 seconds.
Yeah. Again, that was the second nice flank that we got to see. The first one at the very beginning of the game, and we close it out with another decisive flank by B-Town Esports. Those 2 teams, they're the ones on top, B-Town Esports and Nova Esports. It's a gulf between 1, 2, and the rest of the lobby.
Yeah, looking at this, it would take a serious chicken dinner from one of our teams. I would even say, well, anybody else on this leaderboard in the top 8 so far. Theoretically not impossible, but it would take B-Town and Nova both having pretty abysmal games and them stepping up the biggest of ways. I would say pretty much everybody else on this second page, their chances are pretty much out the window. At this point, they're looking to just try and play spoiler because you hate to say it, but it's kind of become a bit of a 2-horse race. And I can't honestly say I'm surprised watching how good these two teams are up at the top. B-Town in particular, there's a reason they were dominating the leaderboards for so long. And of course, Nova Esports. They have so much competitive experience between them, and they have the individual fragging power to put it into practice, which I think Digon is the thing that impresses me so much every time I watch them.
Yeah, and you know, as much as we were taking a look at the scoreboards, we see our reigning champs Moonlight there near the bottom.
Yeah.
There was like 2 or 3 games in a row where they ran into Nova. And so it just shows how damn good Nova's guns are and how different this outcome could have been for Moonlight. And this could happen to anybody, but when you run into better guns, it's just so dang hard to work your way on through it. And so B-Town and Nova have their heads above everybody else. And so I think now the question is like, what do they do? Does B-Town, the ones in the lead, now start changing their strategy? They play a little bit more reserved and try to just keep a man up? We'll keep an eye on those 2 squads as we move through this next map.
B-Town want to avoid Nova. And there is, mathematically, a big argument for Nova to hot drop B-Town.
Do it.
Oh, that would be one spicy game, number 5, because this is the last one. This is for all the marbles. Both of these teams are at each other's throats. Again, we can't discount anybody else in that top 8, but it's going to come down to this. A 5th and final game to determine who's walking away as the champion for ladder number 2, which means we need to head to a short break. When we come back, right into the action. Don't go anywhere.
This is it, the final map of the Ladder 2 finals of the ESL Mobile Open Season 1 for PUBG Mobile. Digon here and Cammy D breaking down this Miramar action. And Cameron, you brought it up earlier. a true reason to hot drop. That usually never happens other than people being salty and just want to ruin other people's days, right?
Yeah, but in this situation, Nova have enough of a gap between them and third place that it is unlikely for them to be overtaken. If Blackwater Mexico or even Chemical Cloud have an amazing game and Nova have a terrible one, it could happen, but the gap between Nova and B-Town is large enough, 15 points, that Nova really should feel the pressure to hot drop on B-Town to get them removed from the game, which will give them the opportunity, if they have another solid game onto this one, to take the lead. Because at the moment, if both teams have an average game, B-Town are still going to come out on top. So whether it's a hot drop, whether it's a camp of rotation, Nova need to find a way to kneecap B-Town early on this match.
Well, that goes out the window early because Nova is actually hot dropping
Cowards!
Nameless.
Cowards!
Yeah, I don't think they necessarily knew. I guess you had the time to go and review. No, you don't even have the time to review like where the hot drops are. These guys don't know where the lobbies are. So it would have been tough, but they did hot drop someone. And you could see Rin going to work right away and seeing if they're able to pick someone off. And you know, all you need is one, right? You get one knock on one of the players and you're like, oh shoot, this is the team we need to kill. Both teams though, caught in a hot drop though, because BT right next to Sleeping Forest, I think that is. So maybe Nova's work will be done for them by another squad.
It's possible. It's just always, I never like it when a team doesn't try and take fate into their own hands and they try and cross their fingers. But I do like how Nova, they realized that they got beat to that position on the coast by Nameless. They had an SLR but no scope on it, so they sent a couple of shots, but now they're trying to retreat away. And even though the plane path looked all right, and this first circle isn't bad, looking at how many teams are looting outside of the circle, we might have yet another semi-chaotic early game. So Nova need to really tighten down the hatches. BT need to really tighten down the hatches, because BT, they're front runners. They just need to not mess up. And that is often a trap that you see in teams that are in the lead. They play too hard to not lose. But there is reason for not going ham, playing safe. Don't try and hide and snake it out. That's not the same thing as playing safe and more conservative. But it is definitely keep your eyes on the leaderboard.
Well, hot drops all over the place. As remember, we did not have any action until like zone 3 or 4 here. As now Top League Esports dropping on to Moonlight. Moonlight's Faker was able to get a knock onto Crashito. But the rest of Top League answered back. And I think I saw Nova on the kill feed. They were able to pick one up against Hero Team Valoris. So fight's still happening.
There's a lot of early game Anciness. Who hot drops in this position? This coastal area on the bridge, just above Prison Island. It's terrible. So the fact that we have 2 teams drop here, more than like even have 1 team drop here, is kind of wild. But no, here comes the Goon Squad of Nova, rolling up in their clown bus of doom, of death. And even if they're not dropping on B-Town, you can still tell they are looking for early game engagements. They are just trying to flex their mechanical and team fighting ability. HTV though, these kills aren't coming to them immediately, and so you don't want to overcommit. They're just going to try and roll and stroll away. Oh, did they find someone else? Did they spot someone else?
This is funny. They're just, they drive right by it. So lucky for Quan. I guess they didn't see the vehicle? I don't know. They were just like, nah. But I wonder if like Nova are just straight like on site. Let's see if we could just mess them up and see how far we can try to catch up. And if we get lucky and we find the right team, we'll stay and full commit.
Looking on the God play here. A little less action happening on this part of the map of water treatment. This is, I believe, in the circle, not super center. But it does mean that they have a little bit of more time compared to most of the other teams outside of the circle to loot up and then have a good chance of priority into the center's stronger position, depending on how long they actually want to take looting up.
They are taking some time here. They are next to Sleeping Forest and helping quit addiction here in Hacienda del Patron. As now we follow along with Blackwater. Blackwater got themselves the victory on this map last go around. But they've been quiet since then. Remember, we saw Tamal try to send it on in over in Erangel that last map on the southern island and just got blown up immediately. He's had 2 of those plays, hasn't he? He did it on Erangel, and he did it on this map too, in the 1v1 when he was going after Allen.
Hey, listen, if you're talking about a team needs to diversify their playstyles, they need to be close enough that they're all on the same page in their overall team strategy, but you also want to have people that can do different things. You want someone who can scout really well, someone who can kind of hold flanks and sort of play those grunge roles. But you also want someone who can just send it, make those wild plays if they have solid backup from their teammates. So I don't necessarily fault Tamal for making those plays. It is kind of unfortunate that they're 0 for 2 right now. But having someone who's willing to put themselves in risky positions in order to pick up an opportunity for the team is valuable.
I mean, it was just funny. It was comedic to me, so I
yes.
enjoyed it.
Of course. That's the most important thing.
There it is, as we can see the mini map here. Nova, you see on the very, very bottom, you can't see their names, but they're just driving around being like, all right, we're clearing this area. Let's see what we got here. And then BT just trying to set her up. They might run into Helping Quit Addiction. And Helping Quit Addiction and the rest of the squad just moving on up. They know that no one dropped that far north. Especially Godplay. Remember, Godplay is the one that dropped the furthest north over at water treatment. And so they know, hey, no one's in front of us. So if we get there early and people decide to overcommit, and we'll be the first to punish.
There was some good high grounds position right next to a number of different cities in this area. So yeah, they go more towards the center. They can have a nice position to give them good information to rotate out of. It's very unlikely that your initial position in Circle 1 is going to be the one that you stay in for the entire game or even for the next few circles. So you always want to prioritize areas that give you information and that you can rotate in and out of reasonably well. But there's more than enough of those, especially for a team that you mentioned that has like priority into getting center early on.
See which teams are outside the zone. Nova, Nameless, the lone member, one of the lone members of Heroes Team Valoris. I believe that's, yeah, it's just Myth. Myth is the last one there, is Nameless. You can see starting their trek over the hills. Top League and Pro Era they might run into each other to the south here with Nova coming on in. This might be the distraction that Nova needs to get themselves some kills, as they are still rotating themselves on in. No fights yet. Crate dropped right in the middle. It does look like BT will be the one picking this one up in just a bit, as again, G-Fan and the squad, not a lot of meds here. Not as looted up as I expect G-Fan.
I mean, they got into a vehicle and then started driving around. They haven't really prioritized taking a lot of loot. I mean, nump's not bad. And they have an MK14 for, a Mini 14 rather, for the long range engagements. But yeah, this is still not a super kit. They're still having to stop here at the church to see if there's anything of value there, but can't stay around too long because they are still in the blue. Thankfully, Nova are a team that are very adept at these quick 4v4 engagements. So if they come across Top or Moonlight, like you said, they might here. We could see them wipe a team, pick up all their loot, and then be in a much better shape.
Oh, G-Fan, and they're going to drive near someone here. It's Top League. Yeah, Top League and Nova right next to each other. So we'll keep an eye on that fight. Crate being picked up, MK14, all the level 3s. Thank you very much. And so BT, get in, get out, and Helping Quit Addiction, unable to punish as they just watch on from distance.
Yeah. We did see Circle 2 reveal itself fairly inconsequential. So really it's just more of the same of this early game. Teams are going to be corralled further and closer together rather. And it really is going to be on these teams, like you said, Nova and Top coming in from the south, that are going to be the highest probability of engagements. Thankfully here, Nova are able to find a little bit more loot for themselves. You can see them sharing meds amongst each other, picking up some better weapons. It's not great, but it's better than they've had. And top, they're also just going to be driving out of this location, either not aware, or if they are aware of Nova, don't care at all. Okay, BT. Some potential trouble.
Yeah, that's Mezexis raining down some shots from distance. Jat has the truck, so if there's smokes, it should be fine. Oh, Drake runs out there without anything. Dares 24 to land it again. Dared correctly, wasn't able to, and Issa Jat will get picked up here. But now you got to extract him on out, and people know firing range happening. There's the run.
Oh, the shot still doesn't land. At this range, this is the reason why people oftentimes favor DMRs over bolt actions, because especially at this range, you can just send more shots in, and even though you're less likely to get a kill off of a single bullet, it's still just more damage overall. But now BT, they arrive. They want to push this fight.
Yeah, they do. Thor trying to go on in. Revenge now gets caught up by Issa Jat. Says, hey, I didn't like that shot too much. And this is what we wanted to see from a championship contending squad. Don't just sit back. Continue to play your game. And after being picked on, they pick off a couple of members of Mezexis and force them to run away. What a play.
Nova as well. Opportunity for a fight. They come across top here at Power Grid. Couple of shots from Skies, but he wants to push forward to find a better angle with weaponry that he has. Not to mention the cover that top are dealing or playing around in the Power Grid. Oh, good angle. Finds the headshot on a kid, Keo. And that's going to be the follow-up bust from Skies.
There we go. Nova saw the kill feed earlier. They need to answer. Crowned goes down as well, so that's 2 down here. And top league just seemed like lambs at the slaughter, but Crushido has an opportunity, Cameron.
This is a sneaky angle that has been completely overlooked. Unfortunately, he's not in a position to stop the flood of Nova coming over the rest of his squad. Oh, he took some shots. He takes some shots. He's able to find 2 knocks. Okay, this has gone from a good to terrible situation for Nova right now.
Is he the last one up? Is there anyone else up? Oh, AZL has to be careful. Both of them serpentining. G-Fan trying to clear it out. G-Fan gets taken down. Oh, but AZL stays alive. There's one still left on up. No one has died from Nova yet. But it's Motorama, the last one. He can deal a ton of damage, and you know BT's watching the kill feed being like, what the heck's happening? Oh, the foot, the ankle of Rin, and now the revive coming on in. Motorama getting unlucky with the angle. He's gonna try to throw the nade. G-Fan and AGL get themselves out. Will the nade do enough damage? I don't think so, but there it is, spotted out. He picks up 1. And so Nova's chances now down by 1 more member. Can they get the revive on in onto Skies? Skies has stabilized for a little bit longer. Does see him. Motorama gets away for a little bit more HP. Now against a gate. I don't know if there's a little escape there for the gate here, but ACL, he's angry.
Yeah, this is not the storyline that Nova had tried to write for themselves. At least they're able to get 3 up with the revive onto another one of their down teammates, but Motorama is making this difficult for them to finish out. He's surrounded on multiple sides. Drop shot attempt, but it's not going to happen. So Nova do stay the course with 3 members alive with the full wipe on the top, but they need to get a move on. They don't have much time to pick up the loot from the bodies. The blue is coming in, and they need to continue the push forward.
So 5 kills here for Nova, only 2 so far for BT. As we take a look at the zone, Nova barely in the picture there again at the bottom of your screen. And BT continuing the push. They actually finish off all of Mezexis, so 4 kills here for BT, and they're not quite done yet. Now taking shots over at Cool2 BGBG. So the 2, this is great. 2 teams feeling themselves. They happen to be on opposite sides of the map, so everyone else in the lobby just running for the hills.
The problem is, though, if you want to compare Nova and BT's positioning, Nova might have more kills, but BT still have all 4 up, and their positioning is a lot better. Fortunately, this shift down towards the south for Circle 3 makes it easier for Nova to get in. They can crawl into the south side of San Martin with really no one around them. BT are the ones that have bigger threats in front of them, but then that's a double-edged sword, because this is more potential kills for BT to play around with. And remember, it's a 15-point gap between BT and Nova.
Again, I'm less worried about BT here, right? Because BT, they're the ones in the lead. B-Town Esports trying to write their names into ESL Mobile history, have themselves a very good lead. And no matter who is trying to challenge for this top spot that BT has, they need a chicken dinner. And it's always a lot harder to do that when you're down a person. So Nova just made it a little harder for themselves. Though I do applaud the play.
Looking over Gamma from Gold 2. Prone spotting a couple of different teams. Blackwater in a lot of trouble, having to use a lot of smokes early. Good damage, but nothing confirmed just yet. And this whole mountainous area is, of course, going to be more and more contested as we're looking at Phase 4 right now. And they're still not even alone. Look at how many teams are on the minimap once again.
Oh, Gamma taking some shots now. It looks like Moonlight were getting a little busy there onto Game Changers, which are in the northern part of the map. As now Gamma gonna hightail it on out, zone forcing players to move around. Again, as you said, does make it a little bit easier for Nova to get themselves into San Martin, but a fight now breaking out between Godplay and Pro Era inside Hacienda del Patron. There we go, Bolty. He's been a flank ruiner before. Will he be able to do it again? Yang gets on by scot-free. Fly is gonna stop off for a gas station, make himself get one of those gas station sushi or something like that. Oh no, here comes Sailing Pro Bolty. The flanker becomes flanked, and now Game Changers had the game flipped on their head.
The spray!
Fly sees
The spray!
Oh my god! Fly is able to get multiple members down. He gets finished off himself. And so now it's all up to Yang here, as Yang now pushing forward. He should see Coldy. Coldy's right there. You see his body? The smoke will cover up Coldy for a little bit longer.
All the angles of all these teams, and it's 1v1v1 remaining. Coldy wants these points, though. Those were all knocks by Moonlight, but he wants to get those points in his own team's pockets. Yang might have spotted him out, but he has the more advantageous position in this circle, and so instead he's going to play it safe. Don't run out into the open. Absolutely no need for that. But the problem is, are the revives from Sailing Pro coming through? That's the big question.
Multiple members of BT have been spotted on the death side of the kill board. Only 2 members still left up right now for BT, so Nova have themselves a chance here. Dang, all the revives coming on through for Sailing Pro, and
yeah,
so all the
four,
work
actually.
Moonlight did, it's it's all gone to nothing.
Yeah, that's always the disheartening thing, but that's part of the game, is being able to confirm every single one of the kills that you have, not just for the points, not for the kill points that is, but also for the placement points. It's all stacked on top of each other. It's all affects each other. But Yang is now just waiting for movement to come their way.
Yeah, Coldy, he doesn't have many places to go. Circle pops, and it's a hard shift back on over to the northwest. This does not help Nova. Helps BT for a little bit, but BT, again, they're caught in a tough spot with helping quit addiction. You see Alan just dies to the zone. That is Sleeping Forest out in 12th place. And so we got ourselves quite the standoff here. Oh, Yang whiffs those shots. Coldy gets back to the smoke, and now Yang has to reposition. And I think that's the end of that engagement. Yang getting shot at now by the Nameless, and there it is. Yang not able to pick up the points, and it ends a disappointing day there for Moonlight. Moonlight, defending champs, didn't have a day representative of their skill set. Now Coltu pushing on in here in this building, and I think that's all of Pro Era taken out by Coltu BGBG.
A pretty healthy take as well. They only lose 1 in this entire rotation into engagement. Picking up loot, not far from the circle. Godplay has rotated away from this. This could give Gold 2 a little bit more space to move around as they push towards the north. The question is where they're going to go to. There's a couple of hills to work with, but that's only going to open up lines of sight to a couple teams on the west, including BT. You can see Coldy has pushed further to the south, but is still completely entrenched in the territory of Sailing Pro.
Well, one member of Nova just got finished off, so 2 members of Nova left, only 1 member of BT left alive. When Coldy gets finished off by a nade from distance by Pandy. He's able to pick that one up. Let's follow along right here. This is the trouble that Nova's dealing with right now. It is 2 players left of Godplay.
Yeah.
And Nova trying to work their way on in. Drake, the final member of BT. 8 teams left, so they're going to get some placement points. Not a terrible haul here. But again, they need to make sure they stay that point gap between themselves and Nova, who still have 2 members up.
These last 2, even if Drake goes out now, these last 2 members of Nova need to have a solid game in front of them. Because that's already like 5-6 points-ish, thereabouts, for BT. Nova need to now have close to a 20, if not more, point game at a minimum. Which, at the current kills that they have, is going to have to be a win on top of it. But if they start to really frag out from the southern side, the win might not be necessary. Of course, it's always going to be very, very helpful. But we're running out of targets. We only have 19 players alive, despite looking at 8 teams, because that's how many solos that we're looking at in the game.
Well, there it is. I think we missed it, but BT, they're out. It was Helping Quit Addiction that got that final kill. And so let's follow along with Nova here. Nova should be the only team that we're observing because that's the only team that has the opportunity to get themselves the kills. G-Fan and HZL, they're trying to fight their way on into the zone. They're being gate kept right now by, again, Godplay and then Cold2 BGBG to the left. So you got a team that has a great position on them and a team that is hyper aggressive next to them.
Yeah, the problem is, though, this push ahead of Nova is going to be incredibly difficult. You can see that they're stared down by all these teams that you just listed. Their vehicles have been damaged a lot. A nice grenade from G-Fan. If it can get the kill onto Godplay, that's not only 2 kills in their pocket, but also some space to push forward and leapfrog through on the way to Nameless's compound.
One of them in a vehicle. So, I guess G-Fan's there. It's HZL. Oh, nade. Does a decent amount of damage to G-Fan. He's going to pop the first aid and just trying to buy some time. Shots coming on through. That's HZL that's knocked out. So Gamma finishing off HZL. I don't think G-Fan's going to go for the revive. Here it is. Nade trying to come on in. Has to hit the deck. Shots coming through. Has the smoke to work with. But the nade buys him time to get on in. He's getting shot by Nameless. And he gets finished off from distance. And that is Nova going out in 7th place. That's not going to be good enough for them. Maybe we missed it. Maybe some other team has an insane amount of kills, but this tournament looks done and dusted after our Miramar match. As we now follow along with Nameless. They've got 5 with 10 others in the lobby, but it's going to be very, very big for them to try and work their way back on in.
Yeah, if Game Changers or Chemical Cloud have an amazing number of kills with the win, it's possible to overtake Nova or even B-Town. But they're going to have to come up with a huge game. I don't know if there's even any points left for that to happen, but nonetheless, we're going to look to see how this last game plays out. HQA, 3 up, 6 kills for them. Finally, PMPL HQA has come to the party, has arrived in the server, and they are staring down the sights onto Sailing Pro, and that's going to be Ascendant vehicles into someone's grenades, and Sailing Pro are going to be taking advantage of this. 2 kills confirmed off with Ascend.
It does not work there for HQA, and now it's just Lewis, last one left alive here. 4 teams up, SLP, Nameless, and who's it? Cold2 BGBG and HQA. It's kind of a standoff here. The positioning of this last circle is just terrible. Just divots. Someone went golfing in the landscaping department and just left all these things here. It's just awful.
So Nameless have the best position considering they have 4 members up and they already have Daniel sort of scouting ahead. Can sneak into this circle using this cliff, or rather the opposite of a cliff. A little bit of a divot, as you said, a crater to sort of crawl through. And they even have the potential cover of that crate in front of them to utilize. They're going to wait a little bit before they push out. They want to make sure that no one is sneaking up from behind them. But on the other side of things, Cold2 BGBG only 2 up, but 6 kills for themselves. And And then, of course, Lewis, solo HQA member. Smoke's coming out to try and make a little bit of a tunnel to circumvent not just the eyes of Sailing Pro to the north, but also everyone else of Nameless and Cold2.
Yeah, Sailing Pro is just getting naded out right now. Yeah, and there it is. Nameless able to just punish Sailing Pro. They go out in 4th place. 8 kills here for Nameless. This is a big, big map for them. And they have their opportunity at a victory here. Chicken dinner in the hands. It's a 4v2 v1. As I almost freaked out there for Dixie. I was like, oh no. You gotta run, my man.
And listen, reminder, Nameless are in last place right now. They have 5 total points coming into this game. Already, they have more than doubled that from this single game. Or actually, they've gotten more than twice that from this game, from the 4 previous games combined. So they come out with a win here. This would be amazing for their own development as a team. But they have to go through the final 2 members of Cold2 first. They have better positioning. They have a wide wraparound using the man advantage to their advantage. But it's about hitting these last shots. We know how strong of fraggers Cold2 are.
And not Walls on this map in last finals. We know what he can do.
Oh, yeah.
As Daniel waiting for someone to pop on up. Zone stops there. And it's just a standoff now. Can't see where the zone's going. Probably in the middle of where everyone's at right now. Yeah, it is zone number 8. Just the one shack in the middle. Nice shots there by Not Walls. Trying to find someone's head. Able to get him, but then Daniel's coming on over. Gamble wasn't watching his back. And it's Nameless, the last place team, coming up huge. Double-digit kills and a chicken dinner. A great way to end their run here in the latter 2 finals.
Yeah, they got like 12, 13 kills with the win. That's like 6 times the number of points they've gotten from the previous 4 matches, so a great finisher for Nameless. And the way that they're able to use Daniel as the flanker, peeking over the high ground, the second Cold2 decided to team fire onto a member out in the open, which is what you want to do when you're in a 2 versus 4, is try and knock them as quickly as you can. The best way to do that is crossfiring. But then, of course, man advantage is always going to make things incredibly difficult.
It definitely does. And Paul, we got hot drops. Wasn't the one that we thought we were going to get, but both teams in first and second went straight at it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was really interesting. Both teams sort of went into this mindset of what do we have to do to win? What are our win conditions here? Tried to find some fights. That early Nova scrap just had my heart pounding, the idea that it could all be ripped away from them right at the start. I was just like, ugh. And then barely being able to hold on. HCL being able to get an almost full recap. Running through the warehouse, you just see the foot like just go through by the door and the shots are. I was just like, oh, what kind of game is this going to be? But in the end, it wasn't quite enough for Nova Esports. I'm getting word from our admins that things have been tallied behind the scenes, and B-Town Esports officially are our champions here for ladder number 2. You guys called it as we take a look at the leaderboard, but with 2 chicken dinners, B-Town have got it done. D-Gun, they did it in style.
Yeah, they definitely did, and I love the fact that they went aggressive yet again with the game on the line. They did not shy away from engagements. Mazexis tried to bully them early, and they said, no. You're fighting with the lobby leaders and the eventual ladder 2 champions. So we're going to fight back and you're going to run away. And that's exactly what happened. It bought them space. It put pressure on Nova because, again, you can see the kill feed. It put pressure on Nova to get aggressive. And Nova picked a couple of fights, didn't check all the corners, and they got themselves chunked a little bit earlier. So that was well played by B-Town Esports to put the pressure on to close things out here. Nameless, you're still on the bottom half, even though they got themselves the chicken dinner. This was the only map that they had themselves that they could feel proud of and they showed up for. But man, what a tournament here in our finals. And you kind of wonder, our former champs, Moonlight, they just didn't get it going.
Yeah, down in last place. But again, we're going to focus on B-Town, the victors here. And I had a theory coming into this. They were in first place on the ladder climb the entire time until the final week. And I think they saw Cold2 BGBG come in as first place and then not win. So I suspected maybe B-Town intentionally tanked their placement on the ladder, knowing that you never, in PUBG across the board, it's known, across all versions of PUBG, that if you come into the grand final in first place on the ladder, on the leaderboard, you never actually win.
Well,
Good
whatever
strats.
little
Great strats.
juju was hanging over their heads, if that was the case, they shook it off and they were able to get the win. Let's take a look back at some of the highlights from that last game, though, because it was a pretty crazy one here, Degon. We had action from the very beginning.
Yeah, we definitely did it again. Mazexis, before this, Mazexis knocked someone. Aggressive revive by BT, and then aggressive flank by the guy that got knocked. It was Jat. Ran right back on in and said, hey, not today. Skies opened this one up, and this was the one that, you know, we liked this play, Cameron, but then Crushito putting a ton of damage down. G-Fan not quite able to get it cleanly, and there's only one member left alive here for Nova, and they were eventually able to get themselves back on up. They lose one member. Nice attempt there by Motorama. Top League Esports having a tough day, but they're able to at least play spoiler to Nova earlier on, and we had this awkward three-man lineup there with Coldy and Moonlight and the rest of Sailing Pro.
Yeah, listen, we were focusing so hard on B-Town and Nova for good reason. But one thing that we also need to recognize from this final map is that a lot of teams actually picked up a fair number of frags. We saw so many teams with 5 kills, 6 kills, 4 kills towards the end. The kills were spread out a lot more because so many of these teams were really trying to push themselves in this final leg of the final as high up the leaderboard as possible, no matter the chances of taking first place.
And then Chiwang for HQA, that stopped BT in their tracks. But then it was this angle right here where Nameless was able to punish the Nova players and finish off G-Fan. And what a story that would have been if G-Fan would have been the last one alive, get enough points to pull the team back into contention. It wasn't meant to be. Not Walls gets one more great memory, great shot there at the end, but Gamma, Gamma's looking at the same way, man. He's got to be watching the flank. No one's watching his main man, not Walls, and Walls gets taken down. Cool 2 BG not able to take the victory away from Nameless, and Nameless staking a claim to the Season 1 Ladder 2 finals.
Indeed, and almost another epic Game 5 finish for Cult 2 BG, but it wasn't in the cards yet again. But still, between these two ladders, a second and third place finish for them, certainly have to be they gotta be happy with that performance, I have to say. But even happier have to be B-Town Esports, our Ladder 2 champions. They're walking away with the prize and that title, of course. A long line of Mobile Open champions. If you've been watching the show from the beginning, thank you all so much. And if you're not, make sure you're following us over on social media because there's a lot of things happening here. Our challenge season for some of our other titles is starting soon. And of course, we have more PUBG Mobile action happening this year. And you certainly do not want to miss it. !social in the chat. You guys did an absolutely fantastic job holding it down all day long. So last little final thoughts before we say goodbye. Cam, I'm going to start with you.
It was, once again, a reminder that there is so much untapped talent within the PUBG mobile scene. Every single time we come into these ESL Mobile Opens, we are greeted by a bunch of players that we're not familiar with if you've been watching Pro League or even Mobile Open from the very beginning. But there's always new heroes that come about, and it makes coming back super exciting.
Well, the heroes that I love are, it's these ones right here. Let's take a quick selfie. Boop.
Hey,
there we go. All right. Hey, always great to spend time with both of you guys, holding it down in the grassroots, the training grounds of the next greats coming out of the Americas region. We had a lot of teams that we didn't know about that we definitely do now. I'm excited to see what the future holds for the Western audience of PUBG Mobile.
I could not agree more. And it is always a blast hanging out with you guys here on the show. Thank you all so much to everyone who's tuned in. And we will see you next time.
See ya.
Feel the lights, see the stage, hear the vibe. Pumped up to get ready for the fight. Big dreams, one chance, be the star. I'm the winner coming out of the dark. No fear, getting ready for the ride. Yeah, stepping into the light.
as a motivator. Let them know that the weight's up. That's how we know when we level up. Ay, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
Back against the wall, still I'm standing tall. Know about the ball, I got my fan with me. All we know is ball to empty out the mouths. The chosen one they call, I take my fan with me. Know about it if you tell, know you're breaking codes. What your credibility and all fall like dominoes. Can you really take a stance? All I wanna know. Need me real ones when it's time to go. Stepping in, elevator. Listen to all the haters. That's all we know when we level up. Yeah, that's all we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up. I found out I'm not alone. 'Cause I'm just like you. There's no failing when we fight. We're not afraid to. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up. Feel the light, see the stage, hear the vibe. Pumped up to get ready for the fight. Big dreams, one chance, be the star. I'm the winner coming out of the dark. No fear, getting ready for the ride. Yeah, stepping into the light. No limit, aim high. No limit, the price is mine.
Step out as a motivator. Let them know that the weight's up. That's how we know when we level up. Ay, that's how we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up.
Back against the wall, still I'm standing tall. Know about the ball, I got my fan with me. All we know is ball to empty out the mouths. The chosen one they call, I take my fan with me. Know about it if you tell, know you're breaking codes. What your credibility and all fall like dominoes. Can you really take a stance? All I wanna know. Need me real ones when it's time to go. Stepping in, elevator. Listen to all the haters. That's all we know when we level up. Yeah, that's all we know when we level up.
Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up. I found out I'm not alone. 'Cause I'm just like you. There's no failing when we fight. We're not afraid to. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? You know we fall and we get up. Level up. All we know about is level up. Are we ready not to level up? It's time, get up. Feel the light, see the stage, hear the vibe. Pumped up to get ready for the fight. Big dreams, one chance, be the star. I'm the winner coming out of the dark. No fear, getting ready for the ride. Yeah, stepping into the light. No limit, aim high. No limit, the price is mine.
Step out as a motivator. Let them know that the weight's up. That's how we know when we level up. Ay, that's how we know when we level up.